Ooh, what's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal. Yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here with another episode of the show. Sorry. Slow-mo's asking for a link, and I'm like, scroll up.
Oh no! Come on now, Slow-mo. Got to get with the program.
Unless I sent him a link from last week or something. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, I'm here with another episode. What's up, Breeski, Spencer, Gregor? What's up, guys? We're going to be talking Starfield Metacritic, Starfield impressions, Starfield. And maybe some of the upset on Twitter about some of these reviews. I don't know. Starts with an I, has a G, also has an N. You know what I'm saying? So we might
don't know who you're talking about. Please elaborate.
Yes, I mean, we will definitely be discussing that as well. We will be adding to that. We're also going to talk about Volition shutting down. We're going to talk about how I was jumped by 2 or 3 folks in the industry. Some industry folks came through. They didn't like that I made a joke, a little jokey joke. They didn't like that. Well, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show the full context of the conversation because I got blocked. So, anyway, it's it's all good there, No worries whatsoever. But yeah, we are here for a great show. And I'm going to start off by introducing my guest, Mr. Rain.
Well, what's going on, Luca? It's cool to be back in the house. I feel like it's been a minute. I feel like I lost my key, and I had to call you up to get another one made. And you were like, "Really? Still? I don't know if I really want to do that right now. I'm busy."
Listen, bro, you got a master key, man.
Nah, I do. I definitely appreciate it. I love the energy that y'all have over here, man. It's dope that you hit me up, and I had some time to get on tonight. So, yeah, it is I am him, the one and only Still Rain, and I'm excited to be part of the Scumcast today. I think we're gonna have some interesting conversations about Starfield, because this game is different, man. It's different.
Yes. All right, now we have Mr. Singer himself.
What up? It is I, the champion of Starfield. Yes, that's me.
The
champion.
All right, and then we have Mr. Slow-mo, who asked me for a link, and I was like, scroll up. Mr. Mo?
What up? FedEx is trash. Don't use FedEx ever.
Oh, man.
They suck. They all never graduated high school, and no one loves them. So, but outside of that,
shout out to any FedEx workers I may have in the chat. Like Slow-mo, what the hell?
I don't care.
Oh.
Your company stinks.
Well, the company itself. Shout out to the employees, though.
No, the employees are the reason why I don't have my package right now. So they stink too. They smell. they smell like unwashed ass. Is what they smell.
Right,
wow.
Whoa.
I got slander. I got a lot of slander for them.
I mean, listen.
Today has been frustrating. But
I got you, buddy. I got you. All right, so let's go ahead and get popping. All right, Yobi, good to see you, buddy. True Virgil, Spider-Man, Ramon, Meat Puppet, Crow, Singer, King Metrochan. What's up, guys? What's up? So yeah, let's go ahead. What do you want to do, impressions first or reviews? I feel like maybe the reviews will lead into the impressions.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Starfield Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a lot of us were and then here we go, Mr. Nautical himself.
Is that Forte?
What's up, though?
It's Gaming Forte.
Yes, okay, so let's go ahead and talk of this Starfield. So Starfield is currently sitting at an 88 Metacritic with 50 critic reviews for PC, and it is at an 87 with 54 critic reviews for Xbox Series X. I've heard that it runs well on the Series S as well. So, guys, 88 is a fantastic score. A lot of studios would dream of this. I believe that... Okay, hold on. Before I start typing, let me just make sure I don't have anything crazy come out. Okay, so I feel like this is in line for Bethesda, at least modern-day Bethesda, in which Fallout 4 received an 87. Now, those user scores, that might maybe a different story. But Fallout 4 had an 87 for PS4, 84 for PC. New Vegas, which was Obsidian, 84, 91 for Fallout 3, and and 88 for Fallout 4 on the Xbox One. You know, Skyrim was Skyrim. You know what I'm saying? So that was in a different league of its own. That is. So, but it's a great score. This isn't it's not what people were expecting, though. It's definitely not what people were expecting. Even last week, what were your scores last week? What were your prediction scores last week?
We were all in the 90s. I was like 93.
I was 91.
I was 91.
All right, yeah. So, and initially it wasn't a 91 with 25 critic reviews, but certain sites I think brought the score down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, some are claiming agenda. I don't know about anything like that. So, but yeah, I will say that this is a fantastic score. It's okay. So, I think this is a score in which folks can't really complain. In the sense that I know so people are, but in the sense that like if it was like an 84 or something, I thought this was a game of the generation, genre defining, all this extra stuff. Or if it was like a 94, that would be also like, game of the generation, genre defining. Like that would also spark a conversation as well. And 88 is just a very, very good score. But it's nothing like crazy. Like it's nothing it's nothing crazy like Elden Ring was, which was completely unprecedented in my opinion. Even though, of course, From Software has a very, very positive track record with critics in releasing their games and their scores, of course, right? But yeah, it's just a different era. It's a different generation. The last game that Bethesda proper came out with was Fallout 4 in 2015, I believe. So it's been a very long time, and things have changed. The people in the industry, some have changed, some have passed over. Standards have changed. It doesn't help. It doesn't help Bethesda that Baldur's Gate 3 released and is considered a fantastic RPG on a different level in itself. And since it was so recent, the release, even though it's different, it's a CRPG in comparison, it's still an RPG. And I definitely think that there's definitely some people in the industry who, may have had that. There may have been some comparisons there, and at least in terms of storytelling and the way the game is structured, RPG style, right? But of course, I've heard that the story for this one is good, which is awesome, great to hear. But yeah, so 88. What did you guys think about the review scores? And what do you guys think about the score? Yeah,
it's great for. It's great for the game. I'm happy it did well because this is a good score, despite if people say, if it's not a 90, it's a failure. No. Plenty of great games. The 90s club is pretty exclusive. To get into the 90s, you have to be exceptional. And this game, it got what it got. Sure, they brought it down, but at the end of the day, that's an opinion of a person, and they put a number to their opinion. Is their opinion right or wrong? No, it's their opinion, so it is whatever. And it just so happens that brought the score down. But I have no problem. Great game. Great score. It should be still considered a fantastic game. And as much as I think Baldur's Gate 3 did affect it, I think it didn't really affect it because Baldur's Gate 3 it wasn't expected to do what it did. Starfield was expected to be a great game. Baldur's Gate just came out of nowhere and went, hello, here I am.
That's fair. Yeah. Rain?
Yeah, playing off of what Singer just said, Baldur's Gate also had 3 years to build with this community. So I feel like that's quite a bit of a difference versus a game like Starfield. Now, personally, I don't necessarily hold Metacritic to some high standard like a lot of people seemingly do. Even even studios tend to hold that to a standard for themselves. But
publisher does, for sure.
Yeah, the publisher does for sure. Yeah. For me, I think that 88 is a solid score for this game, especially for the times. If it is to believe that there is a form of some Xbox bias at some point, then 88 could be also part of that. As we've seen recent titles for Xbox really get hit over the head. Redfall didn't make that any better. Consistency has been a big thing for them. So I think the major thing that people are really like clinging to, that when they're like trying to downplay it a bit, like Singer was saying, people wanted it to be like an over 90. Hey, I thought I was reaching for the moon, and I'm not even the Bethesda dude. I'm the Bethesda noob. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get a 98, just being hyped for no reason. Because I was just interested in the game, and I was hoping that it would do well for that team, especially being Todd's baby, apparently, quote unquote. But I think 88 is a good score. I don't see how you see that as a bad game. I don't see how you see that as an average game. And typically Bethesda style of games, per their prior history, always stand the test of time. And for this to be a space odyssey type game that is rooted more in reality than other space type games that we've gotten, I think once the modders get a real handle on this, and they already are, as you see DLSS dropping in with PC, as we get further down the road, a year from now, Starfield is going to be a completely different game for a lot of people. So I think it's going to withstand the test of time for sure. So 88 is a good score. That's my thought.
All right, anyone else can go.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that it was a high 80 score, but I guess it really shouldn't have been. If you kind of look at like you brought up the most recent Bethesda games to get review scores, and I guess it kind of makes sense. It actually probably could go up a little or down a little depending on the rest of the reviews that come in, because like we're really only like this official release hasn't hit yet, and there are a lot of games media sources that are going to review it, and they are a part of Metacritic takes their scores and applies it to the average. So it could go up or down depending on how that turns out over the next couple of weeks. But I mean, I haven't played it yet. I'll be playing it on the 6th. But I mean, I think 88, high 80s is always a good score. Oh yeah, like that's not a bad score whatsoever. That's usually indicative of here's a very good game that you should probably check out. And the only reason why it is somewhat of a disappointment is just due to the fact that it's an exclusive game. Excuse me. That's it. That's really it. It's exclusive to a particular platform, so people apply a different value to what the game has to be. So that's all it is, really.
All right, Nautical.
It's nothing wrong with that score. That score is perfectly fine. It's what it needed to be, based on all of the reviews I listened to from just people talking about it. You know, a game can't be above a 9 when you have a slow start to the game. You can't be over a 9.
That's not true.
Not that slow start of a game. Like if you're talking about,
I disagree. It's a slow start.
If you're talking about okay, well, we'll get into that later.
I'm not the Bethesda dude. So
did you play
Skyrim? I played Fallout 4. I played each of these games 10 hours a piece at least, just to get a feel for them. And I always drop off of them because it's just too much. I don't have time to just dedicate to that. And they were older. I'm trying to do mods and whatnot. You know how that go. But comparatively to previous Bethesda games, this game opened up pretty decently. You're getting introduced to the mechanics of how the game works. It's more like hey, you know how like in the beginning of shooters and whatnot, they'll be like, hey, aim left, aim right, aim up, aim down. And it was kind of like one of those scenarios where it's easing you into the process to the point where you end up making your own character, right? And then after that, you're shooting up with people, and then boom, you're in the ship, and then you're in space flying around. So it's just like I personally didn't see how people saw this was slow. I think this was a better opener than Fallout 4 and Skyrim combined.
How many hours have you put in so far?
I mean, were you listening? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you.
I have 6 answers for you, but go ahead.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
So I actually don't agree with Rain when it comes to comparing this opening to Fallout 4 and Skyrim. I don't agree. And I also don't agree when I was saying that's not true. Me personally, I was referring to this concept that if a game having a slow start means that it's not going to score well, or it's not going to score in the 90s, because I think The Witcher 3 had a slow start. So it's just like I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa,
but
what? I feel it's coming off as Xbox propaganda.
No,
It's coming off as Xbox damage control. I'm not.
No, because y'all didn't, because everybody wanted to jump down my throat before I got to the rest. I was just talking about a game can't start off being slow and still have other things that's holding it back too. Like when it comes, like, let's be fair, I put over 7 hours in the game so far already.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff that I can see is like you live in your menus, like literally living your menus in this game. Fast traveling is a thing in this game. It's like you fast travel more than anything in this game. It's like when you go into space, you fast travel. When you go to a planet, you fast travel. So I don't hold any of that against the game, but I'm saying when it's meant to be like this grand exploration game, but literally all you're doing is clicking a button on the screen to fast travel to that space, and there's really no in between. That's where I'm talking. So I'm just talking about just what they built, what the game was built up to be to what it is. So if you're talking about the slow start, and then you're adding all the situations with menu control, how it is about upgrading your character, how slow of a ramp up that is just to get to. And I don't really hold that against, because that's how RPGs are. This one just decides to make you do a lot of different systems in order to get to that point. But I do have issues with a lot of the loading and a lot of the menu stuff that you have to do just to function in this game, because you play the menu more than you actually play the game a little bit at the beginning until you kind of, figure everything out. So for the most,
fair.
For
the menus part.
That's the thing. So I said, so if like the way I look at it is, could it be a 90? Absolutely. It's like right there teetering. The people that have said that it's not a 90, I'm like, well, listen, there's a lot of things that kind of hold this game back from being a 90, but I can see it being right there on the cuffs of it being. It's one of those games. It's right where it needs to be. I wouldn't say it should be below like an 85, because I feel like there's a lot there that a lot of people probably just haven't gotten to yet. And I also think a lot of people that are playing the game now is kind of listening to. It's like you kind of got more information than you normally would have, because I'll tell you myself, the reason that I sit a lot higher, like I'm sitting at like probably a 80 something, like high 80, like just for where I am in the game right now, compared to a lot of people that reviewed the game. Everybody that reviewed the game said their score started really, really low. Like it started like around a 6 or a 7 or a 7.5.
Which is fair.
And then it ramped up on them. But we're dealing with a situation where everybody's telling you like, hey, don't do anything outside of story missions that has something to do with the main plot. And if you want to do anything on the side, do faction stuff. And guess what? That's all I have been done. I haven't done any like of those tertiary little side quests and stuff. I've done a couple of the faction quests. So in the faction quests in this game are freaking incredible. They are almost as good as some of the other. No, we're not talking about the spoiler. I'm just saying, but the faction stuff is almost as good as the main quest game. So for me, I'm not really experiencing the slow ramp up to the game, because I'm actually just staying on the main path, and I'm not really going off and doing other stuff compared to like what some other people did before. But I can see if a person didn't have that information, I can kind of see where you can sit with this score and be like, okay, it's not the greatest game ever, but it definitely has its parts of the game that you're like, this is really cool, and I really like what this did, and it just kind of sits right in the middle.
Here's the counterpoint to that, though. As someone
who did,
because I understood the assignment of doing the main quest and doing that, I decided not to. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do what I normally do, which is explore and do all these little tertiary activities, as they're called in the game. And I was just running around. I'm already like level 8 coming in New Atlantis. Like I haven't left because I'm too busy doing all this other stuff. But these little quests are really good, and I don't understand this idea of a slow start, because some of these quests are really in depth. It's layered. There's multiple different like moral compass choices. You know, do you give it to this person or this person when you know they're evil, but you get a better reward, and then you kind of have to question yourself: would it help these people? So there's so many different layers in it that if you could do both ways, but I don't feel like it's slow. I feel like I'm being rewarded for seeking out these quests and these secrets without doing the main quest. So that's where I differ. It depends on what kind of gamer you are. Are you the kind of person that goes out and looks for everything, or do you want to just do the main quest and get through the game and then do the side stuff afterwards? But it just doesn't seem slow to me. I don't know where this idea of slowness comes from.
And that's what shout out to Gene Park being there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, good
yeah,
pull.
he just said us reviewers kept saying slow start because we tried to do everything at the same time. I think it's an issue of how we approach the reviews. And that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Ultimately, their reviews gave us an insight of how not to play the game. Literally how not to play the game. And that's what it's unfortunate that since they did play the game that way and that was their experience, you can't take that experience away from them. That's why the scores fall how they did. But that's also why a lot of people drastically changed their score over the course of like the last 20 hours that they played it. Because they said the ramp up, I've never seen such a huge delta
pullback.
In people's opinion, like some people literally went up 2 whole scores on their whole score just because of how the game like finished out over the last 20 hours. So it's definitely something there that a lot of people are going to experience. And that's why I always said that this game is going to be that game that's going to be played for years and years and years to come. Yes. And I also think once they start releasing the DLCs, you're going to get even more of that stuff. And that stuff's going to get more fine-tuned over the course of time. But, you know, everybody's talking about the review, 88. That's not a bad score. Yeah, no. Spider-Man happens to be one of the best games that came out last generation at the beginning of this, and that didn't even score. It scored 86 and 88.
Which is also a fantastic score.
A fantastic score.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
So, Ramon, go ahead. What do you think about the meta? And what's up, Gene? How you doing, buddy?
So, one, I'm still not quite good yet when it comes to score predictions, because I said in my naivety I said 94.
I mean, that's
what a lot of people are saying, though.
Yeah, but so anyway, that was way overshot. But as far as the scores go, man, like I don't know why people get pressed when it comes to these scores. These scores have no effect on your enjoyment of the game. I enjoy both knacks, and you can look up. They scored what in the 50s? I mean, you know, like you may think of
you have pony tendencies, so that makes sense. I'm sorry, continue.
Boy, here we go. Anyway, you know, I mean,
that man is a PC gamer now. Leave him alone.
No, Forte, I'm willing to make a bet with you. How long will it be until he says Horizon's better than Starfield as an RPG?
Well, Luca would boot him out of this stream if that was the case.
See, you mistake having a differing opinion for being an extremist. I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to say that Aloy isn't for everybody, but I understand the way her personality is, why it is the way it is, and I resonate with a lot of the way she interacts with people. But that's a whole other subject. As said, since Horizon's boring, I'm not going to bore everybody with it. But like,
I'm already asleep.
See, that's what I'm talking about right here, man. I don't come in and slander. Anyway.
Okay, so here's the thing. Unfortunately, no matter how any of us may feel about it personally, review scores do matter. I mean, again, to bring up Elden Ring, I saw people who were like, "Fuck From Software, I'll never play a From Soft game." Picking up Elden Ring, I had people beat that game before me who were like, "I don't like From Software." So many people bought that game off of hype alone because of that score. So, and then also publishers do care about the review score. Listen, what did Days Gone
get? 60. It was a 60 something, right?
Yeah.
It was a 71 or something.
But it still sold well, right?
I mean, well, Sony didn't want to greenlight a second one, so I don't know about that.
Its sale numbers are kind of a little bit shaky. Like it's still
wasn't it rumored it's like 2? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wasn't it rumored like 2 to 3 million or something like that? Or
no. They announced like 5 million at one point and never spoke about it again.
That's pretty good for a new IP.
It is,
Yeah.
but apparently, I mean, I think,
But I think honestly, I think the review score affected
it
the
absolutely did
it,
because
Yeah,
one
I
of,
Sony
think
is
so
and
very
then
too.
important to
also
them.
for what there's some other studio
Unfortunately.
where I think they scored like an 89 and that affected an 88 or 89 on their game and that affected their bonuses or something like
No,
that.
that was Obsidian and Bethesda. Obsidian, when they did Fallout New Vegas, they had to get an 85 in order to get a bonus, and they got an 84.
Yeah, right. So like regardless of how we may feel about it, it matters to studios, it matters to the publishers, and it matters to public perception as well, you know? Gene's like review scores do matter and he gave his score. Review scores do matter. It's reality. We can say all day that they don't, but it matters in the business. Studios shut down with bad reviews. Exactly. So it's like however we may feel about it, like me personally, I've been saying this for years now. I use review scores as a guide but not the end all be all. Like if I want to go and see something or if I want to play something, I'm going to play it for myself
Right.
regardless of what the reviews are. I played Callisto Protocol. Now listen, did I get far? No, I turned that joint off. But like I played Callisto Protocol and I did enjoy the little that I did play of it. But like regardless of the scores there, I still played it. You know what I'm saying? And like there are a lot of movies that I love that people consider trash. Shout out to the King Arthur Legend of the Sword. Okay, one of my favorite movies of all time. That shit is so fire. All right, I love Guy Ritchie's work anyway, but all I'm saying is like they are, in my opinion, you should use it as a guiding point, but not the end all be all. And they
Yes.
do matter overall. So
Yeah, see, well, my point when I was saying that review scores don't matter, I was talking about like on an individual personal level, because a lot of people were getting like super upset because it scored, in the high 80s, which is a great score. And it's like, you can disagree with what the total score is, but people get like really, really bent out of shape about it. And it's just like on an individual level, one, it doesn't affect you on an individual level, or it shouldn't. And two, there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's in terms of the business side of it. Yeah, if it doesn't score to expected, that sucks. And that can, like you say, it affects bonuses and stuff like that. And, I'm all for people saying, man, I feel like it should have scored higher. You know what I mean? But some people are
Right.
like really upset because it didn't score this or because it scored that. And that's more what I was talking about is like, you can, and like you said, you can use scores as a guide. Like, I don't like more so than scores. I typically, if I'm certain about a game like Spider-Man 2, I'm going to get that no matter what it scores. But like, if there's a game that I'm not sure about, then I'll talk to some friends whose opinions I trust and, kind of see what they say. And then, maybe I'll look at the reviews as a guide. But I mean, aside from that, like the people who were just so upset about like reviews and stuff, like it just on a personal level, it doesn't.
People get passionate though, right? People, it's when this is your hobby, this is your passion, this is something that you enjoy doing. People do get overly passionate. That's not to excuse it either, but I mean, like you just mentioned, I feel like approaching it more at a perspective of, I feel like for these reasons, maybe it should have scored higher. And actually having that breakdown of that
That's
conversation.
absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair.
Yeah. So for me, the conversation on the reviews and people feeling like it didn't score, like a lot of people point to the IGN review because they gave it a 7, and I'm like, okay, but
one.
They get one of the main channel gave it a 7. But people are arguing about, well, why did they give it a 7? It's biased and all this other stuff. But I'm looking at the reviews and I'm trying to say, like, okay, so we're gonna act like this game is a 10. And we got Xbox Act, we got IGN Spin, we got Game Rant, we got the Washington Post, we got Gaming Boat. All of these different publications gave the game a 10, 100. So people want to argue because one IGN or whoever gave it this, but then we're not going to argue the other side.
IGN is graded higher than others.
Yeah, but they're not probably graded higher than all of those other ones combined. There's like 900s up there. I mean, I can understand if it was like 100. There's like 9. Actually, there's 10 that gave it perfect scores.
But how many of the heavily weighted publications, like GameSpot, they're heavily weighted. They gave it a 7.
Yeah,
IGN gave it a 7. How many other of the big boys didn't score a 10?
Well, some of the big boys haven't even reviewed it yet because they didn't get code.
Right. So it's
we gotta wait
too early to call it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So,
Well,
because if all the big boys vote it's a 7, then that's what it is. But
that's what it is.
I mean,
obvious. You know, for those studios still to think about it, for those studios, those publications to give it 7s and still hit an 8.8, that means those other ones are outweighing. I mean, there's way more of those, but it's just like I said, it's not like it kind of balances it out. You're always going to have those outliers. And I think people, as long as you're not saying like IGN gave it a 5, you know, that's crazy.
I think the other thing too, though, that people are like, oh, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're overly worried about it, but people do see and feel as though there is some bias for whatever reason, or maybe it's something that they're internalizing. That could be a possibility too. But there's just something to say when certain games do try to do multitudes of different things. And Bethesda typically is known again as Bethesda and has all the issues that they have. There's already going to be a lot of weight, not only for that team,
right,
in their previous games, but them now also being under Xbox, because it's like, oh, well, you having all these issues. Why do you have these? Why is Sarah Morgan broken as an AI while I'm playing this game and you're under Xbox? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of that scrutiny that adds up with it too.
Right.
So a lot of it is somewhat console war fueled, and the other side of it is maybe just people more so just defending their belief on how good they feel the game is. But to your point, Forte, it's like there is something off there too with however things are weighted, because there is a lot of the time where you'll get these scores from the majority that are a lot higher than from other publications that get talked about all the time, for negative or for positive reasons. And for whatever reason, it's like pushes that game from being just a 90 or, oh, now it's a 83, or, well, you know, it's just, it is weird in that way, which is why I think people continue to have a conversation about it too.
Yeah.
Because something's weird, something's off about it in the way that games are graded. Like having that to 5 scale, 1 through 5 scale is really weird too, because a 3 could be an average game. A 3 could be a good game that had the potential to be even better. Could have been a 4, you know, whereas the 1 through 10 scales are much more lenient, where you have a better understanding of, oh, if it's a 7, it's definitely above average. But if it's a 9 or an 8, oh, it's possibly perfect in some areas, but not completely. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, yeah, I know what's the guy's Dan Stapleton?
For IGA, he the one that did the video review for it.
I think I had a back and forth with him a couple years ago about Dark Souls difficulty. And I definitely I may or may not have thrown some curse words around. I don't know. That may or may not have been me. I don't know. But yeah, I saw a couple people going at him, and it's just like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I understand why people care, but also like, who cares? But I understand why, you know, because a lot of it is like the console war thing, you know. A lot of the Xbox guys were banking on this being a 90s plus banger just to rub it in the Sony's guys' face, and vice versa. Sony, I've seen Sony guys 88 trash, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, you know.
Hey, Luca, I just had to look. 2 of the big ones missing are The Verge and Polygon. And when these 2 cast their votes, because they're going to be weighted heavier than a lot of the other publications. But also something I noticed, DualShockers gave it a 9.
I know.
I was kind of shocked.
That's a PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a PlayStation website. And Survivor only gave it an 8, which is weird in and of itself, because that's like, whatever. But yeah, I just noticed The Verge and Polygon was missing, and I was like, oh. So that could bump it up probably to like an 89. I mean,
depending
I don't know how it's weighted.
Yeah, depending on where it falls.
Regardless, I think 88. I think 88. You know, people are going to be up and down about it. It's a conversation piece. If you feel like the game should have been better, it's a conversation piece. If you think it is better, but it's not a bad score. So I don't. People arguing about it and whatnot. Just I guess they need something to do. So
Well,
I mean, I don't. Real quick before you go in, but I don't necessarily think they're. I've always found it odd when people would try to argue with whether or not a game should be higher or lower when they haven't played the game. You know,
that too.
There it is.
everyone-
Right there it is. Right
everyone
there.
was
There
like
it is.
arguing with
That
them and
too.
going back and forth. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And this was during the day before it was unlocked for the early access folks. Like people were arguing with them, like you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I would argue that they do know what they're talking about because they actually
played it.
played the game.
Exactly.
Even like this concept of the game shouldn't be a 10, it should be a 10 that you guys were saying earlier. I mean, we don't know that. We've barely started playing the game. You know, it could be higher or lower. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like for me, I just think that you should play it for yourself if you want to and try to decide how you feel about it.
I mean, I don't feel like any game should be a 10. So no
No
game is
game should
perfect.
be.
Not
No
even
game
Zelda?
is perfect.
Not
No.
even Zelda? Not even Tears of the Kingdom?
Even when
Even a
Zelda was
9.5,
even when
not
Zelda
a
was
10.
getting 10s, I was like, I could see.
Did you?
But
That was you?
yeah.
You said this. Did he say something on
Yeah.
DPS?
Nah, you know what?
Promo?
Yeah.
About
Like, the
Zelda
game-
not deserving that high score?
I don't recall.
No,
that,
I didn't
so-
say it
He
didn't
did not
deserve.
deserve a 10.
No, I didn't say it
Absolutely didn't.
deserved a high score. I said no. I said if it had any game that gets a 10, I look at them like, okay, whatever. Because no game deserves a 10. There's something wrong with every game.
I
Armor
just
Core 6
remember
is perfect.
I remember all of those 10s that Elden Ring got, and yet I got killed because a boss clipped through a wall. And
I mean,
killed
sucks
me.
to suck, get good.
No, it's just yeah,
I'm
exactly.
standing.
It's just
I'm
part of the
Get
standing on the
good.
other side of a wall.
good.
That's a move, man.
All right.
Like no game that allows an enemy to clip through a wall to kill you should get a
Thought it was
10.
safe.
Ramon, it's a skill issue, my guy. It's okay.
Oh,
You'll be
yeah.
all right.
You
I
thought
sh-
you
I
was
should've-
safe. That's what
That's
it
it.
was.
I should have stood on top of the wall, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it was connected to a roof.
Yep, don't matter. It don't matter.
But yeah, I don't know, guys. I like I said, the back and forth is always interesting to me. 88 again is a fantastic score, and I think they all should be proud of themselves for this.
Well, I
achievement.
think, yeah. No, I think the biggest thing that we should probably talk about is who the people that like they have review these games and stuff. Like a lot of people will tell you, don't have a person that doesn't like RPGs or play Bethesda games. Don't let them review games like this. But then on the other side of that, you kind of want to have some type of outside influence thinking like, okay, what did you think of this game? So it
Nah,
comes
I
from a
disagree.
person that no, I'm just saying that's the opposite side of it.
I understand what you're saying, but I
yeah.
disagree.
So-
Do you guys want me reviewing a sports game?
Yeah, actually.
That would be
It'll be
funny.
hilarious.
it would be
Oh
funny.
yeah, it'd be very entertaining.
It would be
It'd be
funny.
very
But would you
entertaining.
actually take my opinion seriously? Because I've never played a sports game before, and I don't like
Well,
sports.
should you really take anybody's opinion seriously when it comes to
Yes.
Well, yes,
Well,
I'd say yes,
your
but
opinion? Your opinion is a sea. Your opinion is just another sea of opinions amongst every. Like I was telling Slow-Mo this yesterday, or I think during DPS. I watched more reviews.
Nautical, before you start,
Go ahead.
whose opinion on Destiny 2 do you want to hear more? Slow-Mo or me?
Yours.
You know it's me.
got you.
No. Listen. Listen. This
You
is
have
the
to
thing,
think on
though.
that one for a minute.
No. Luca is absolutely right. I would want to hear her opinion more than Slow-Mo's, but I still think about Slow-Mo when he says stuff. When he says stuff about Destiny, it's in the back of my head.
And I'm right.
You value the
I value.
Well, I'm not
that's what
trying
I'm
to
saying.
hear a
I'll
Destiny
value.
hater's opinion. Okay, that's
No,
That's
let's be
fine,
for real. Let's be
but
for
like-
real. Hold
like-
on, Slow-Mo. This is
hold
where
on,
I'm going to defend.
but
Wait,
hold
no,
on.
this is where
Hold
I'm-
on.
go ahead.
Outside of him being a Destiny hater, he doesn't. I mean, he stopped playing Destiny long before we did. So every time he would
But,
come through and start
Luca.
yapping, it was just like, oh
But
my
that-
god,
I'm
this
not
But
guy.
doing a
Slow-Mo,
review of the game.
Slow-Mo,
If
This
I did a
guy
review
did-
of a game,
Slow-Mo,
I would
Slow-Mo,
actually have played
Slow-Mo.
the current, like,
Slow-Mo.
actual stuff. in the
Let me-
game.
Slow-Mo,
let me-
that's
let-
not
let me get
true
Slow-Mo
because
your-
how many
Slow-Mo.
reviewers have come out and said, hey, you don't need to beat the game to play it. You don't gotta beat the game.
But
Beat
guess,
it,
but
cheat.
Luca,
Well,
but
look,
slow mo, be quiet. We're gonna mute you. I want you to say. I'm trying
How
to
you gonna
defend
mute
you.
me? You're not even the host.
I'm trying to. I said we're gonna mute you. I'm trying because I don't want to go down this rabbit hole of Destiny
No.
because
I'm
nobody
not
cares
going
about
in
that
the
game
rabbit
right
hole of
now. Let
Destiny.
me
Well, I was
finish
actually
saying
gonna
what
agree with
let me
you.
say what I was gonna say. No, this is what I want to say. As much as I agree with Luca and her standpoint on that, the one thing I have to say about slow-mo in his opinion, as much as it irked me and I didn't want to hear it all the time, look where we are now, Luca. The game is like everything that we said up until this point. Now, we were just stuck in the thralls of enjoying the game. And of course, nobody wants to hear negative stuff about a game that they're thoroughly enjoying.
Oh, it's a hellhole.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah. What's that like?
I don't have any issues with hearing negative perspectives. My issue with slow-mo has always been this, okay? It was always just out of the blue, like, we know how you feel about the game, dude. You don't have to continue.
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, I'm
That's
with you
how
on
I
that.
felt about it.
I
So,
feel
You're
yeah,
talking strictly on me bringing up whenever y'all be playing Destiny, and I would say something. But if from your example, if you're looking at reviews, if someone isn't a Bungie fan or a Destiny fan and they do a review of a game, I think that perspective, and I'm not just talking about me, but I think that perspective has value because there are people who are not Bungie fans and are not Destiny fans that may look at this game and may not want to get the perspective of someone who's already engrossed in everything.
I mean, I just have a different opinion when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because me personally, like, this concept, whenever studios try to quote unquote appeal to the mass market, they tend to do it at the detriment of the already established fan base. Volition, Saints Row. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I would rather hear the opinion of someone, and mind you, Dan Stapleton has played Bethesda games before, I believe.
Yeah.
I think some people in the chat pointed it out. So there's nothing wrong with him being the one to have reviewed this game, right? But what I'm saying is, like, I don't. Again, I tend to look at a person's opinion as more. Yeah, I tend to look at someone's opinion as more valuable depending on their level of experience with the title. Take, for instance, me and Slomo were having a conversation about this video on Dragon Age, and he was telling me some of the things that the video maker had said, and I'm just like, okay, like, did he play the other Dragon Age games? Did he play the DLC?
The guy had played all of them, but he just wasn't unlike me and Luca. He did not pay attention to all the details and all the codecs, and there was information that we had acknowledged that he had wrong, and so look.
So for me, I
that
like
happens all the time. I think.
And I'm just, for me, I look at that, I'm just like, okay, I don't really care about this dude's opinion. You don't even know what you're talking about with this character. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just like I can't really think of too many channels I follow in which the person is a complete and total novice of whatever game that they're playing, you know, unless I'm following like someone playing Souls games for the first time and them raging. That shit is hysterical to me, right? It's fucking hysterical. But for the most part, it's like, I want to hear someone like Epic Name Bro or Fighting Cowboy when it comes to Souls games. You know what I'm saying? That's just like my perspective on it. But I understand the concept of having new people come in and offering a fresh takes and whatever, right? Like, just because you're new to the series doesn't mean you can't love it all the same, or, you know, have valid critique of it. Me personally, for a lot of games, other than me taking jokes and taking shots at the Horizon series, mostly because I think it's just funny how upset people get, Ramon. But like, other than that, like,
don't do me like
you know,
that's why we pick it.
I don't typically talk about games that I didn't enjoy. I'm usually just like, I play it, I'm like, and then I just move on, you know? I gave my impressions of the Forspoken demo, and a lot of people in the replies were just like, okay, yeah, that's fair, you know? But I didn't play the main game, so other than me noting the very sketchy dialogue, it wasn't like much of anything. So I say all that to say this. Let's talk about our impressions. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I sent this. Hold on, let me send this to you as well, Nautical, and give you a chance to look through. So let me pull up my Steam. All right, I currently have 5.9 hours in the game. And then shout out to Stone, who's a member for 11 months. Almost a year with the hearts. Oh, lots of hearts, lots of hearts, lots of love, right?
She's giving a heart to every person on the. You're missing one hug. There's 6 people up here.
I definitely think that all of those were for me, but she can confirm or deny.
They're all for her.
Yeah,
He said they're all for her.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
Hugs all around.
I have 5.9 hours in the game. I'm playing as like a diplomat type, doing those persuasion checks. And I sent a list to Singer and also Steel. Did I send you a list?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yes, I did. I sent you guys a list of what we were going to be covering.
I was in, character creator, all that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about, let's see here. Let's talk about how I said, a Bethesda game launching smoothly, blessed be. That was a fucking lie. So thanks to someone very generous, I was gifted a code, among other things, right? And so, I'm chilling. I'm ready to hop in the game, okay? 8 p.m. EST, right? I'm ready to hop in the game. Imagine my shock and surprise when I installed the game and it said available September 5th. I nearly had a fucking heart attack. I was like, what? Is this the wrong version of the game? I went to Reddit. Other people at Reddit were like, bro, we got this edition of the game and this shit ain't loading. All right. This shit is not loading. We were all freaking out. I uninstalled and reinstalled the game 3 or 4 times.
Oh.
Okay. I was on the phone with slow-mo. I wasn't. I was on the phone with No, I was not on the phone with Slow-Mo. I was on the phone with Stone. And we're just having a general conversation about something else. And then as soon as the game finally loaded, I screamed in the middle of her sentence. And she was like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm just like, it's about to experience the greatness that is Starfield, right? The game would not launch for me for about an hour and a half. I was mad. I was very angry. Damn. But I want to ask, did anybody else have issues with the game? Because this seems like this was a PC thing. I didn't see any Xbox guys complaining.
No, I didn't have an issue. Because I did the pre-download, and then when it unlocked, it did the unpacking, and then it went up to the 130 whatever gig. And then once it done unpacking, because I was in the Discord with Blaze and other people, we were all going to play the game. And of course, we all just booted it up, and no one in the Discord had an issue getting into the game. So it must have been a select people, or maybe how you got it, because I didn't come across that launching issue.
Yeah,
it was slow to unpack, though. I will say that, which was weird.
Shout out to Stone with the super chat saying Slow and I sound the same. It's just because I've talked to Slow-Mo, Nautical, and you within the same amount of time frame, back to back. My bad.
Man, I understand Stone being upset about that. I'd be like, wait a minute.
What's going on here?
My voice sounds like his,
No, I didn't have any issues. I preloaded it Monday I preloaded it. And when I got home right before DPS, Slobo told me about your issues. And he said, and then I said, well, let me see if I can log in. And I was able to log in right away and literally had the start screen up and was looking at the characters and stuff. So I didn't have any issues on day one. I haven't had any crashes, haven't had any bugs either, which is kind of funny. But yeah, no problems on PC so far.
Stone said that she saw a lot of Xbox people on Twitter saying they couldn't get in as well. What it appeared to me is that there was something not right with the preload, where if it seemed as if it was looking more towards the preload instead of your account in regards to whether you should have had early access or not. And so the fix for a lot of the people that I heard that were having the problem was to uninstall it and then reinstall it again. And it seems like at that point, that's when everything worked out fine. So it's frustrating, but we've all seen games, especially around this day and age in gaming, where day one is never really smooth.
Yeah, I will. Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, for my part, I too was gifted a copy of Starfield with my Ryzen 7 7800 X3D,
Let's
but
go.
I I was not able to boot up the game because it requires a completed PC. So I'll have to get back to you later.
Well, I will say this. We I'm in a chat with a bunch of other store managers because we all got copies of it, and it looks like everybody, because everybody, I do remember people saying they couldn't get in. A couple people were doing it at 8:09. They took pictures of their screen saying you're too early, and it was like 8 minutes after launch. And it looks like by the time 8:30 got around, everybody was able to get into the game. So it was something around that first 15 to 20 minutes. It just didn't let people in. It was giving you either an error or it was saying, "Oh, you're too early. This game isn't out yet." And then they were finally able to get in. But it looks like everybody that I know that I know have the game on Xbox or PC, they got in by like 8:30, 8:40. And that might be why I was able to get in, because I didn't try to get in at all until about 8:45, right before our show started. So I didn't try before then to see if it was an issue around the 8 o'clock mark.
Yeah, I had the same issue when they went live. What was right at 7 Central, I believe, and yeah, it wouldn't let us in for a minute. I thought there was something wrong. We were sitting there live on YouTube with Mav and them, and everybody was trying to hit it. It just seemed like it rolled out over time. It was just It's weird to see a game take a minute to kind of come up, especially like 30 minutes to an hour later, and it's a single player game, right? That was kind of my takeaway from it. But
yeah, I was definitely ready to fight somebody about it, but I was able to get in, and I put again 5.9 hours in.
What do I
and,
have?
And let's see here. Oh yeah, let's hear how many hours everyone has. A Singer.
I got 4.5.
All right, Rain.
I have almost 15 hours in. Right around that, yeah.
I have 8.2.
All right, so, which is fantastic. It's a diverse range of hours, so we can all give different perspectives on it. Let's talk about the character creator first. I think this is Bethesda's best character creator in terms of the options that you're given. I saw some dude on Twitter say, okay, I'm sorry. I saw some guy on Twitter say, what did he say? Something about pronouns. Oh yeah, he said he or she. I'm sorry.
Oh, the he she
Hold on.
thing that they give you.
She said, my bad. She said, I almost refunded my game when Starfield asked for pronouns. I still might. I'm annoyed about that. I would like to point out that we all have pronouns. I'm just throwing that out there. But you know, there's that concept of the people wanting to be referred to by pronouns that don't match their physical appearance, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So anyway, it did the he, she, or he, him, she, her, they, them, right? Yeah. So it gave like a non-binary option, so which is, you know, that's fine, like it's cool. So and then you could like customize how much you weighed, if you were more muscular or skinny, all that stuff, right? So you know, I think it's like the best character creator they had. Now their hairstyle choices,
I've heard.
I mean, like I said, still good in comparison to the other games. I'm still thinking about Fallout 3's character creator, like goddamn, you know, like pretty bad, so I'm happy there. And then it had a diverse range of traits that you could pick from and different backgrounds that you could pick from that would affect different aspects of the story going forward. So I chose to be more of a diplomatic type and with a street kid mentality, that kind of thing. And the traits, like I went pretty conservative with the other traits that you can get. Like I didn't choose any religious faction to join, and I also didn't choose anything like you have to keep jumping in order, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like
That's crazy.
Nothing silly like that. So I had a good time with the character creator and making my choice of character. And yeah, I mean, what did you guys think about the character creator?
The character creator, it was actually really fun. I made a pretty hot looking dude. Well, at least I think he's hot. Hey, I have no problems with it. I want a good looking character, you know? When he's rocking his Jordans and whatnot in space, you know?
There you go.
Because I have the fit on, the fit that everyone seems to be running around with. And it was fun. I went for the diplomat perks class because for my first playthrough, I'm gonna try and what I normally do, which is like try and talk my way out of stuff, not have to go full gut. Because I always find it entertaining having to go through the dialogues, figure out what the person's like. Do you have to be mean? Do you have to talk to me nicely? And overall, the traits, of course, I had to have the adoring fan. I had to have hero worship because
Oh yeah, I got him too.
I had to. There is no way. As a fan of Bethesda games, you have to take that perk, I think. And then I took the Enlightenment one, which is one of the religion ones, because, I don't know, I was like, I'll play around with it, the system, see what happens. I saw Dream Home, and I was like, oh, you get a home. And then I read it, and I was like, oh, but you owe the bank 125,000.
A week. A week.
Oh, yes. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to be playing Debt Simulator in the middle of space.
So I was like, no thanks, man. Like, who knows how much I'd actually use that house anyway, so.
I mean, the house is nice. It looks really, really nice, but no, I'm not. 125,000 debt is not good. The thing is, you get to keep the house, but you have to pay 500 credits to enter every single time. So it's gonna be that was good. So overall, it's the best character creator system they've had. I will say that it's better than Skyrim and it's better than Fallout, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I think the character creator was pretty solid too. Overall, again, it was definitely lacking as far as having any form of ethnicity in there. But I'm bald, so it is what it is. I was able to make a decent looking bald dude, favoring myself. So, and regardless, I'm looking for the fly spacesuit that I can out there. I'm gonna have a helmet on most of the time anyway, so it's not an overly massive thing. I did go the cybernetics route though, just because it teases the fact that you can get more involved with like robots and whatnot. And although there's just mainly Vasco that I've seen, I wanted to see if there was like potential maybe to replace some parts on Vasco, make him look different, or how much control I could really have over other kind of robots that they might have available. So that was kind of mine. Traits, I went for the Neon Street Rat, Alien DNA, and then the Wanted perk. The Wanted perk, I don't know if Wanted trait, excuse me. I don't know if that's how that's been working for different people. I know Pawn was telling me it's pretty consistent for him where people come looking for him and trying to get their bounty off. But I don't have people drop down on me that often. Maybe I haven't been on a planet long enough for them to drop in on me, or I'm always like underground or whatever the case. But yeah, overall, I feel like I got a decent overall built character. So yeah, feel good about it overall.
Steel Rain, do you know a dude named All Day?
Yeah, we had this conversation.
Yes,
okay. Every time you start talking, I'm just listening.
I had to remember
move
that
on
too.
to it. Move on. We had a long phone conversation about it. All right. So opening mission compared to other Bethesda titles. Okay, so I'm just gonna use Fallout. I'm gonna use Fallout 4 and Skyrim. I listen, opening mission in my opinion, kind of dry compared to Fallout 4 in Skyrim. You know what I'm saying? In Skyrim, you're literally about to be beheaded and you get attacked by a freaking dragon. In Fallout 4, a nuclear bomb is dropped on you and you're so it's just like I think it's pretty slow in comparison, but that's not necessarily a problem. It's just different, so
I didn't mind the opening mission because it gets you down to the mechanics, the whole mining thing. It's a bit slow, but it gives you like the backdrop of how you start, obviously going into the game, like how it's because the start it is slow, but you could tell it's building the story, like it's laying the foundations. So I'm okay with it. It's not as good as Skyrim though. Skyrim is probably the best start to any Bethesda game. It's hilarious.
Not obviously, I don't have a comment on Starfield yet because I haven't played it. But on the subject of the slow burn, the slow opening, that really kind of comes down to a taste thing. Because I'm one of those people. I like a slow burn. as long as it's done well. Like, you know, you can start off slow, build, you know, I'm right there with you if you're building everything, you know, and it's done well. A slow burn can be good because it sets a really strong foundation for the rest of the game to grow off of. But, you know, it depends on the person though, because some people, no matter how good a slow start is, they're just like, nah, we need to get going. I'm out. So
Yeah. I didn't mind. Somebody's AT&T phone. I really didn't mind the beginning of it. Now, of course, it isn't Skyrim with a dragon coming in, and it's not opening the vote the first time you come out of Fallout 4 or 3 or whatever. It's not that. It also, outside of that, Skyrim it was just a build up, where Fallout you're doing a lot of stuff before you even exit the vote, so you kind of got a little bit more story and exposition. There's a little bit more of a build up. The thing for me, I like simple things. Like, I have a really, really good sound system for my PC, surround and everything. So when I walked out of the where you go outside for the first time and you're walking and that ship comes down from, I'm like looking around where is that sound? I know it's a ship coming in, but it's like loud. And I'm like,
yeah, let's go.
It was crackling. I was like, yo, that
It sounds very Star Wars like in some aspects.
I can't wait to hear that on my system.
Yeah,
it sounded like thunder. You could hear just this loud.
I can't wait. Let's go.
Yeah, so something little like that, where like you coming from inside and you're doing like you're doing monotonous things. They're showing you how to use the cutting tool, and you know, nothing exciting. And then you have this little space trip that happens, but then you just walk outside and that ship comes down, and I'm like, yo, I'm invested already, because I love space opera stuff. I love sci-fi. And the first time you see the ship come down, it's really, really cool. And then some other stuff happens. We don't want, we're not going to talk about spoilers because it's right at the beginning of the game, but then there's other stuff that happens and it kind of ramps up a little bit. And then it just kind of chills. And then you off on your little adventure. So the beginning mission, I do agree with Ramon, Trevor Bird's song, what he had to say about it. I definitely agree with him, but I think for everybody, it's something there. It just really depends on what type of atmosphere you really, really like. And if you're into those medieval styles and stuff like that, maybe Skyrim definitely is going to be something that hits for you. If you're more that apocalyptic style, how Fallout does it is. But I'm a sci-fi nut, so just having a ship come down out of orbit and fireworks and everything going off in your ear, it sounds incredible. And that was something that I remember from it.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And then let's talk about how the game looks. So, again, this is the best looking Bethesda game in my opinion. I actually can't get over how good it looks in comparison,
right,
to the other Bethesda titles. I think it looks great. I am currently, like I said, I'm playing on PC. I'm getting between like 50 to 70 FPS generally speaking, and then it'll jump up to like 100 plus in certain areas. So, but I haven't really tweaked the settings other than turning off motion blur, and then I just turned off something else that someone recommended.
Please tell me you turned down film grain.
Please, yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
You need to turn
that off.
It's this really weird. It looks brownish, and it's like once you take it off, the game looks better.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I already thought it looked good, so I will do that to make it look better.
Are you running with dynamic resolution on PC?
No.
So you turned it off? Okay.
I never turned it on. Like I didn't mess with any of those.
It's usually on. It's usually on by default.
Is it?
Yeah. In this game,
I didn't touch anything.
FSR on.
Yeah, FSR is turned on by default.
FSR is on, but I didn't touch the dynamic.
I've been seeing people say it looks better with FSR off. That's what I've been seeing.
I have mine off. Yeah, I have all dynamic resolution. All that.
If your PC got the chops, absolutely turn it off.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it looks fantastic in context to Bethesda titles. So I'm very happy with that. And I think just the vastness of space. I just think it's beautiful overall. And then the combat is solid. It's they've been building on that combat for decades now. And I remember struggling quite a bit with Fallout 3. Quite a bit with Fallout 3. I didn't have too many issues with Skyrim, but that is definitely like a product of its time. I'm thinking about how I played it in I believe I played it in 2011 when it first came out. No, I actually didn't. I waited for No, yeah, no, I did. I played it on my brother's Xbox. I forgot. But and then I played it again on the PlayStation 3. So but yeah, like I didn't have any issues with that really, even though I know the jankiness that was also there. Fallout 4 was definitely, in my opinion, an improvement from 3 in terms of like the jankiness of the animations there. And then Starfield is just, I think it's just building upon the foundation that was already there, especially with the concept of just like the fact that it does third person, but it also does this like over the shoulder view as well. So it's like you have 3
Mhm.
viewing angles. I think that's pretty cool as well. And 2 viewing angles apply to this ship combat, which you could be like zoomed in or third person. You know what I'm saying? It's first person to third person. So I think the combat is good in reference to the other titles in the series.
Well, if we're going over that kind of stuff, the visuals, I haven't gone to these solar systems yet that other people have been to, but people have been posting screenshots, obviously from on the planet, and some of those shots are just absolutely beautiful. Like you could put that as a background, and you could say that was taken from a telescope. Like some of these, like there was one where you can land on a moon, and there's this giant like white gas planet with rings around it, but
Yeah.
it's like directly vertical. And when you look at it, it's just so beautiful. You're just like, wow, that is actually really pretty. Some areas look kind of rough when you go inside. But when we're talking about just the space aspect of it, and in general the open areas, it is really, really beautiful. The best a Bethesda game has ever looked, and the combat. I'm actually digging the combat. The combat, the guns feel different. So depending on which gun you're using, they all have like different characteristics. I've noticed like the Maelstrom is a bit inaccurate, but if you slow fire it, it's way more accurate. But if you get the other assault rifle, it's more accurate, but there's all different kinds of shenanigans as well with the combat, like randomly throwing grenades and watching bodies fly through the sky. Then for the ship combat is great. It's not the best I've ever experienced, but my experience is EVE Online, and that is a dedicated space sim where you fly around in ships fighting people. So it's a bit unfair to compare it to that because it's a dedicated space sim, not an RPG.
I fucking hate ship combat, dude. I'm just
Really?
throwing it out there. I fucking hate it. Not just in this game, just being on a ship in general. Just triggers my fight or flight. Like I hated the fucking ship combat in Assassin's Creed 4. Like just sailing around. I hated that shit. I hate being in this fucking spaceship having to shoot at people. I'm sorry. I hate it. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
For anyone who enjoys it, I'm glad that you enjoy it. But for me personally, I'm just not a fan of it myself.
I like how. Go ahead. Say that. No, go ahead.
So obviously I can't compare it to EVE, but in terms of just general the ship combat, what the people I've interacted with, the pirates and whatnot, it's dynamic. It's entertaining because you have to manage like your shields, your weapons, your grav jump. Like it's really in depth. And I also unlocked the target draw system they told you could do in the perks, and you could zero in on different the VAT system basically for space.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a neat trick. Instead of having the VATs on the ground, you have it for your ship, which was an interesting twist. So overall, it's good combat. It's not the best combat, but of course we knew that. But it is very good. It's much better than Fallout 4, gunplay wise. Like if you're trying to compare the two, there's no contest. It's better by far.
Yeah. Graphics wise, I'm running everything pretty much on high. The game has a really good sync progress where it syncs to, if you have a compatible monitor that the game recognizes, it recognizes your monitor and syncs to that resolution without having to go through, and it kind of tailor makes your experience based on your monitor. And I have the Alienware one that does it seamlessly, so I get the resolution, I get everything. So I barely have to change anything. But like Singer said, I just changed like film grain. I took off some other stuff. I also changed the IMEI file just so I can be able to pull back the camera because that FOV sucks in normal. So I have a further FOV so I can see more of the environments, no matter if I'm in first person or third person or super third person. But the environments look good. There's some planets that I saw and I was like, yo, these planets look really, really good. Some of the terrain looks really, really good. Some of the faces not so good, but it's overall, I really, really enjoy it. Now, the systems when it comes to like ship flight and stuff like that, I really, really enjoy that. There's a couple of side missions I did where I did combat medic, and I had to save some people on a ship, and just being able to target, like Singer said, I was able to pick some of the traits where you can like target people's engines and shut them down, or target their weapon systems and be able to do this and go in and dock with a friendly ship to get everybody off a ship that was about to explode before it did. And we were able to flee and flight out of that situation. There is so many dynamic things that happen. And when you're, and then if you've never been like, the tutorial does a good job of it, but there's parts where you'll be like in space and there's so much stuff going on around you. Plus you're in the middle of a gunfight. The game looks incredible at points like that. But like I said, we can't deny that there are some shortcomings when it comes to like a lot of the other things, but it looks like when it comes to like the model rendering, when it comes to like the stuff that is like really, really far out in the textures of different like rocks or something like that, they did a really good job on that. But the game is probably one of the best. It's not even probably, it is the best game inside of like the Skyrim, Fallout, Bethesda, ecosystem of games that they made. It's definitely the best looking game in that regard.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's see here. So we can just final thoughts.
Overall, I would say for me, overall the game is a lot better than again I was anticipating. I keep going back to me being a Bethesda noob because I typically don't play their style of games or really get into them. Again, I tried to do, I fully kitted out Skyrim, and it still didn't give me the combat that I was looking for. I tried to make it too much like Elden Ring, and not Elden Ring, but Souls games per se, because I feel like I'm ruined by that, being able to back up from a locked on enemy and being able to have like a full range of motion and dodging that way and everything. Remnant has some of that too. It feels crispier. And in Skyrim, it didn't really hit for me that way. Fallout 4 also did the same thing, modded that completely out on PC, and I couldn't get into it. Again, less than 10 hours in, I was just like, this feels okay, but I wanted to play it in third person because I'm typically not the first person dude. This, it just feels from the jump. As soon as I was able to get into third person, and first person felt fine, especially how they introed it, but I wasn't going to play this game if it didn't have third person. And for it to feel as crisp as it does, even comparatively to Fallout 4, it's leagues and bounds better than what they had before. You could tell that they put that work into it. So that's really impressive to me. And it's like you can also tell that as you get better, or you get better guns, get more mods, things of that nature, the shooting becomes even more of a good time, and I find myself enjoying it more. It's a great exploration game. It's a great, so far the story has me pretty driven. Almost 15 hours in, and I just got done building my first ship too for the first time, so that was cool. So yeah, it's interesting, man. I'm waiting to see what else it brings me.
Nice.
Final thoughts was it's a great game. I thoroughly enjoy myself. I can't wait to get even deeper into the game. I did try to land on a gas planet, and I can say you can't do it. Can't be done, my guys. I'm sorry to tell you, I tried my hardest. I saw one, I went to it, and no.
Did you even make it to the gas giant?
Yeah,
Because
you should have died.
I think I made it to the gas giant.
If you got in that atmosphere, you shouldn't have made it out. You've been crushed into a pebble.
Well, the biggest thing is a lot of people have noticed is a lot of and the reason I asked that is because a lot of the planets are static. They really, you can't get close to them. It's like they're there no matter how far you go in that direction. That silhouette stays the same size. Then they try to represent that it takes a long time to get there. But outside of like debris, satellites, ships, and rocks, the planets are just static in the background. That's why when you go to a planet, you have to click on the icon, and then it will take you into a menu, which menus, once again, I hate. You have to click on the menu in order to get to the planet to land where you want to, but you really can't go around a planet, like circle a planet, because it's not built that way.
Which I think, like, if I cared more about that stuff, I would be disappointed. But since I personally do not give a fuck, I'm just like, all right, whatever. But I do think it would be disappointing for someone who actually cares more about that kind of stuff in regards to like a role playing aspect, the immersion aspect, if you know what I'm saying. Also, when Nautical mentioned earlier, like the menus thing, like, yes, it's very, 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 very menu heavy. So I can definitely understand that being a downside as well. All right. Final thoughts.
I didn't finish.
Go ahead.
The last final thought was modding community, you know what to do, because I'm telling you that a lot of these planets are gonna turn into, I'm expecting June planet, I'm expecting Coruscant, I'm expecting all kinds of things. Someone's gonna do it because they instead normally they give you like parts of a map, right? In Fallout and Skyrim, you only have parts of a map. Now you've given these people entire planets. Oh, you know they're gonna go crazy. Because you have it's gonna be fantastic. So this game is only going to get better.
I have an outsider thought. Like, one thing that I like to do with new IPs is walk in as a fresh slate. So what I'm looking forward to is just walking in with a fresh slate, not with any preferences of like, storytelling or gameplay or anything like that. So I'm really kind of curious and excited to see like what they did with this 10-year-old, this 10-year in development game, and like how different it is, or and then similarities, because it is obviously Bethesda, but like everything I've been seeing has been, well, I shouldn't say everything because the NPCs just irritate me, but everything else just looks really good, and I'm just like really looking forward to seeing just this whole thing. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's just go ahead and wrap that up. Okay. Starfield impressions. Let's talk about this PlayStation subscription tier price increase. Now, and right before we do that, I asked thoughts on Starfield for those who are playing. So let me just go ahead and scroll through for everyone to take a quick glance at some of the replies here. A lot of people seem to be absolutely loving it, which is fantastic. And there was a couple of complaints here, some critiques here and there, which I was like, oh, that's fair. So thank you to everyone on Twitter who decided to answer. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Luca, can I show one thing real quick?
It depends on what you want to show, man.
It's something hilarious.
I don't know. I send it to me first.
Okay, here we go. Let me DM it. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I need you to check it because
yeah. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you to everyone who responded there. But okay, PlayStation tier list, guys. Does anyone have this readily available? Do I gotta go find it? Let me go get it after I'm done here. But yeah, let's see here.
I might have it. Give me a second.
Sure, take your time. Take your time. What did I bookmark? Oh, I found it. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and present. So Sony is raising PlayStation Plus prices up to by up to 35%. All right. From September 6th, the price of the 12-month subscriptions for the service's Essential, Extra, and Premium plans will rise by at least 33% for each tier in the US, by at least 20% in Europe, and by at least 19% in the UK. All right. So currently it costs $60 for Essential. Extra is $100, and Premium costs $120. The prices beginning next month are $80 for Essential, $135 for Plus, and $160 for Premium. Okay. Now, when I saw this price increase, I must admit I was like, I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm broke. I'm a broke girl. You know, I don't have any sort of money whatsoever. And I was like definitely on my broke girl status. Like, I definitely, anybody who wants to come through and say you're just broke, Luca, you can't afford things, Luca, blah blah blah. I'm just like, yeah, you are absolutely 100% correct. So, hold on one second. All right, okay, Singer, this is fine. I'll play it. Real quick. Go ahead and share your screen.
All right.
But yeah, 100%. I'm broke. Guys, what are you thinking about this price increase?
Well, I think it's fantastic because PlayStation has saved me $80. Well, I pay $80 now, but with the price increase, it'll be roughly about $108. So they've saved me about $108 a year. And my subscription lapses, I think, in the spring next year. And I can take that money and put it towards the game on Steam.
Because I wasn't sure where you were going with this at first, and I was about to be like, what do you mean?
No, I think it's great.
Zoom in, Singer.
Yeah. There you go. There's the.
Yep, go ahead.
What is this, you, Singer?
Nope.
Oh, I seen this. I see him, man. I was like, oh, the fact that I saw that, the fact that you could actually do that, I was like, because that dude got on my nerves talking to him when you first came out. I was like, this. If I knew I could just come out and chuck a grenade out there and just end that conversation right in there, I would have did it.
Oh man, I got to remember that.
Oh man, that dude got on my absolute nerves. That's right at the beginning of the game too.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah, short and sweet. Just get to it. Oh man, that was so good.
All right. But yeah, thoughts?
PlayStation. Well, my subscription ran out in July of 2023. And they just gave me a read. Like, we talked about this the other day, and for me, a lot of the games that, like for myself, I play PlayStation not for multiplayer games because I play most of my multiplayer games on Xbox or on PC. I play first party games, and Sony doesn't have any of those that really take advantage of you having to be online. So you're not getting anything. Like, they're basically saying we're going to charge you $20 more for just to have online and for them to give you 2 games that they already give you now. And they're going to charge you $40 if you want to be able to use like the premium stuff to get games, and play them as much as you want as long as you have the subscription. And I'm like, what's new? I was like, well, you're not giving me, you're just basically saying, oh, we're just going to charge you more money because we can. And you need this service in order to, have a great experience on our system. And I'm like, well, you haven't given us anything in a multiplayer suite that is going to really benefit for us to have this service. So why do I need to have your service? Now, if you're a person that plays all your games on PS4 or PS5 and you play multiplayer games like that, then yeah, I'm sorry, you're stuck paying this extra fee because you can't play online without having it unless it's a free-to-play game. they know what they're doing. I just don't like the way they went about doing it. Most like even when Xbox did their price hike, they did like $1. If it was Xbox Game Pass, they just raised it from $10 to $11. Even Ultimate, their top subscription, they raised it by $2 over the course of a year. That's $24 over the whole year. PlayStation said, well, we're going to charge you $40 for our top tier. And I'm like, where's the extra $16? No, where's the $40 in value at, first of all? So is it a big deal? No, because somebody is going to buy this. I just feel like they're not giving you nothing for you to want to do this. So I just feel like it's a bad move on their part. And I don't, and most people don't even need the subscription to play the games that they're playing. So why have it?
Yeah, it's just weird to see them not add anything. I thought there was going to be something to follow up with them announcing this. But again, there wasn't.
Just nailed it.
I'm not currently a subscriber to PlayStation, but to hear that the cloud saves are still locked behind that, and then them to raise the price, you're literally raising the price for what? For us to store your saves, if anything, which is super unfortunate, especially when your competitor just has been doing it kind of seamlessly since the 360 generation, and it's kind of become, at least to me, a standard because it's so easy to use. But outside of that, I feel like it kind of to the people that it's going to matter to, like us, it's conversation piece. But outside of that, I pay monthly for Game Pass, so it's like I don't know how much of it is it a raise on the monthly service for PlayStation. You don't know? Is it like $1, $2, or?
Well, so this is the thing. They didn't announce what the monthly is, but the way that. So there's no way for you to buy the monthly subscription cards anymore.
Okay, so you have to get it
you have to do it in 3-month or a year increments. Gotcha. And I haven't seen what the 3-month is going to be. The 3-month hasn't changed, but they don't offer the 3-month thing anymore. But this is another thing too. Why would you pay the monthly subscription where you get the discount by paying for it? Because it's $10 a month if you do it. For the base one, it's $10 a month if you do it monthly, or pay $80 to do it for a year. So of course you're going to spend the extra $20 if you do it for a whole year, say $40. So it's like you got the discount for doing it. So now they're just raising the top, saying, okay, we're still going to give you a discount on it, because I think the premium was $18 a month, which came up to like $100, and I think it was close to $200 if you do it month to month. Actually, it was a little bit more. It's like around $200, but they're saying we'll give it to you for $159 if you pay for it all up front. So they're just raising the top end and saying, well, you're still going to save money. You're just not going to save as much money you was before, and we're not going to give you anything extra to make up for that cost.
Here's the crazy thing about that, because the premium is the most egregious, because someone brought it to my attention.
The value's horrible for premium.
All they're giving you is PS1 and PSP games. They haven't given you any. PS2 is basically dead, and you haven't had a PS3 game since 2017.
Right.
What are you paying the premium for? You may as well go down to Extra or the other one, because PS1 games, just get an emulator on your laptop that can easily run it and just play all your PS1 games. I mean, at that point. That was when it was brought to my attention, I was like, wow. They have an entire library of PS2 games, which are not locked. It's not like the PS3 situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not giving you the entire PS2 back catalog, which is an amazing catalog. Don't get it twisted. There's some amazing games on PS2.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Senior. I thought you were done.
No.
I would like to hear Slomo's opinion, if he has one.
Yeah, I canceled my subscription. That's my opinion. I think it's garbage. I think you don't increase the value of something without actually providing a value that justifies the increase. So if you're just increasing the price, just increase the price. Well, I'm just going to be out. And so my premium subscription ends in April of next year, and I just won't have to worry about it no more. I was already going to drop it down to essential because PlayStation isn't my primary platform. So I really only have my PlayStation 5 for first party games. And the vast majority of their first party games so far have been single player experiences. So I don't need the PS Plus subscription to enjoy those games.
Yep.
I mean, I could use the cloud saves, but then you're locking, not only did you lock cloud saves behind that subscription, you also made it so that people cannot offload their game saves offline. So you made it so that they would need that subscription in order to uninstall a game and still feel comfortable that they could at some point in time reinstall the game back and still have all the content, all the progress they had already made before. It's frankly it's terrible business practice as far as me as a consumer is concerned, and I'm not standing for it. I don't need you. I'm good. And all the content that I enjoy from you so far, I can enjoy without your subscription. And you have yet to provide any quality content on a first party basis that tells me I need that subscription. So until you do, I'm out.
I just wanted to piggyback off of something Steele said a few minutes ago too. Ever since the start of this generation, Sony's gotten into this rhythm where they drop bad news right before they drop quote unquote some good news. And it's like I've been like it's been like so easy to spot. It's like, okay, they dropping a bomb, so
that's dumb to me though.
Yeah, it is dumb. It is dumb. It's actually kind of annoying.
Because let's say they bought let's say the rumors are true, they have a second showcase coming, and the second showcase is going to show straight fire games that you're going to need, like online. You're going to need online multiplayer for that they are making, right? So let's say that's the case. Why increase the subscription first without showing us
exactly
the reason why we need that? It's just like that doesn't make any sense.
That's why I don't get.
Show us the fire, and then people still won't like that you increase the subscription, but then they may feel like compelled to stay there because this game is coming down the pipeline and this game is coming too, and they finally actually showed real gameplay from Concord and real gameplay from Fair Games and real gameplay from Marathon, and those are paid games. Then then I will need the online multiplayer aspect. I will need PS Plus in order to enjoy those games on PlayStation. Then I see why I have the value of that. But like, to do this before then, that doesn't make any sense to me.
What I would really love to know is what the percentage will be. Like when those multiplayer games drop, they're going to have to be day one on PC because they need the numbers for the multiplayer game. So I'm curious what the percentage of PlayStation players that are, aware that PC players don't have to pay for online, and how big the uproar, if any, will be when those games start dropping.
Good point.
Because if I was still subbed to PS Plus and I, was a big online multiplayer person, that wouldn't sit right with me.
Yeah, and someone in the chat said, well, to be real, you're not going back because their multiplayer games are going to be on PC, and that's true. And for me, I'm not speaking for me for that for me, because I was already going to drop down to Essential just for cloud saves. But what I'm talking about is for the primary PlayStation gamer that doesn't have a gaming PC, that won't be able to have a platform that doesn't charge them for online multiplayer and can't do that. Then that is an incentive for them to stick with it. But here we are, and they didn't provide any incentive or that would justify a price increase, but they still increase the price. And when you are the market leader, and when you are in that dominant of a position, you can look at I wouldn't say you should do things, but you can do things like this and get away with it for the most part, because if you have a strong enough brand where you're forcing people to make a decision. If you're primarily a PlayStation dude that plays Call of Duty, FIFA, 2K, you're going to complain, and you're going to at least keep PlayStation Essential.
Yeah.
Because you play those games and this is your primary platform. So you're not going anywhere. So although it would be nice if everyone, got together and said, F you, Sony, I'm out, and canceled and made them hurt for it, the reality is that's not going to happen. But, I say, as I said before, and I said this to Ramon earlier this week, everyone should make the decision for them. What's best for them? Because what's best for me ain't what's best for Steel or everybody. Like, it doesn't, like, you shouldn't be making your decisions based upon how other people feel about things. Right. And so I made a decision I made because I don't need to spend that money.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, I mean, like I said, that's how I think it's egregious price hike, and I'm just like, Sony, what are you doing? But it is what it is. Either pay for it or don't. I definitely think it's right to speak up about it because it's not fair. It's fucking insane, but there's nothing we can really do about it other than speak with our wallets, right? So shout out to Lynch with the dono saying price increase sucks, but it's happening across the entertainment industry, which is true. People are going to have to make a decision on what to sub to. I'm dropping YouTube Premium at least this month. Yeah, I actually I canceled a bunch of subscription services, like a whole lot. The only ones I have now are Netflix and Peacock. Netflix, Peacock, Amazon Prime, obviously, because I can't stop buying from Amazon. And then YouTube Red. Those are the ones that I have. So, it's price is increasing everywhere. You guys got to make a decision, So, shout out to the people who hit me up with their subscription services. Much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, I also have Crunchyroll. So,
hey man, got a bunch of family out here.
Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about Volition. So I may or may not have gotten.
Yeah, here we
I
go.
may or may not have had a few people from the industry come through expressing some critique and concern regarding a response I had to this official post. That may or may not have happened. So I'm going to read this post. Volition Games is closing effective immediately. So the Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment, which is debatable. Anyway, for fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community, which is debatable, and always work to deliver joy, surprise, and delight, which is debatable. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide job assistance and help smooth the transition for a Volition family. We thank our customers and fans around the world for all the love and support over the years. You will always be in our hearts. Okay, now before we get into that, I'm just going to go ahead and show these just two things, and then we'll look at my post. All right. All right. So, this is, it's from this Deadly Steph person saying, I view this as this is from last year. I view this as an exercise in shedding some of the toxic fans because there was a lot of backlash to the Saints Row reboot, and we can start anew, better and free of the shackles. Okay, and I know we really need to hammer home what Saints Row is, what Saints Row is about, as some people have it very twisted. All right, if you look at them, they've all been pretty different. Okay, especially 2, 3, and 4. It's a satire of current times, and I guess a big gap in games will get people forgetting that. Yes, so why doesn't Carlos, was his name Carlos, have a shirt? Was that? I do not fucking remember. Carlos Saints Row. Hold on.
Oh man, here we go.
What was that guy's? Not Carlos. I was from Saints Row 2. What was that dude's name from the new Saints Row? Saints Row reboot crew. Kevin. Was it Kevin? Why doesn't Kevin have a shirt? Yes. That was like a big thing there. As you guys can see here, the Saints Row official trailer announcement got ratioed into oblivion, disliked into oblivion. Yes, people are not really feeling it, but we are toxic fans. And then same person, Deadly Steph, saying that you think we should give into terrorists, so-called the fans' terrorist behavior. Also, these people are out of touch with what Saints Row is actually about, so the fans don't know what they're talking about when it comes to this game. Times have changed, and the Saints with them. I won't reinforce this behavior. These are not people we want as fans or in the community. So, I mean, this is one stray person, so it's fine, right? Whatever. So anyway, I made this post here, all right, where it said Saints Row developer Volition has stated that it's not backing down following fan backlash to the newly revealed reboot. I made that post underneath the post talking about it shutting down. Okay, was that petty of me? Sure. Mean-spirited. Absolutely, right? But I do want to say this. I said this in a quote retweet after I've tweeted this. I said, I feel for the developers, but sucks to suck. Like, it's just it was several things that led into it. Bad business decisions, arrogance of a few people on the top. It's just unfortunate that this happened, but I think we all saw it coming at the same time. At the end of the day, regardless of how you may personally feel, your fans make you. Your fans make or break you. So if you alienate your fans by being dismissive of them, that can lead to an impact on. It can lead to an impact. And I'm talking about like actual fans, true fans of the series, people who are highly invested, people who spend their money. I'm not talking about the, random detractors on Twitter who don't actually matter or affect anything. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's really unfortunate. And again, I do feel for the developers who've lost their jobs. I genuinely hope that before this I hope they had an internal announcement first, and I hope that the developers landed on their feet and they were looking for new positions in the meantime. And good luck to them, genuinely. The fault lies with the leadership, and the fault lies with their fucking social media team. Their social media team being, there were a lot of posts from the official Saints Row account just essentially saying sucks to suck as well, right? So it's just like, for me, again, as a company as a whole, Volition being shut down, I'm like, well, I mean, we saw this coming, sucks to suck. It is the fault of the leadership, and it's mostly the fault of the leadership of these studios not having a really good game plan when it came to releasing these titles. And it's them. They were very out of touch in what fans actually wanted. They attempted to appeal. I mean, honestly, the Saints Row reboot, God, I hate to sound like this person, but like, it really came off as just cringy to me, just from a visual perspective. And again, I'm of the mind where I do tend to speak with my wallet when it comes to things I actually care about and I'm invested in. So I was like, I'm not buying this game. I thought about it. I really considered it, but at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get this game. I'm not interested. I think there was other things coming out around that time that I was playing. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just not going to get it. And again, it's not just Saints Row. There were several things that went into Volition shutting down. And again, it bad decisions from leadership, man. But I made this post, and I had a few people in the industry come through to offer their critique. And it did bother me. I did actually care, because I didn't say anything in this post, but I definitely got at least 3 or 4 industry people. I checked all their profiles. They're all in the industry, being like, how dare you make fun of these developers losing their jobs? You just want developers to lose their jobs and be homeless and suffer in the streets and starve and not be able to work. That's essentially what the kind of response I was getting from these people. Like, you lack basic human empathy. I had this chick who blocked me, which is fine. Completely fine. She blocked me, right? Mind you, she blocked me after I proved her wrong, but whatever, right? But she blocked me, so I can't see, we can't go through this together, because my dumb ass didn't fucking take screenshots. The post is probably still there if any of you want to go and look to see what she said. Hold on, let me go. Send
it to me and let me have a look.
Like, goddamn, dude. But anyway, if you just want to, but yeah, she blocked me. She came through and she was just like, she called me mean.
No.
She's like, you're mean. And I'm just like, yeah. I was like, well, yes. Like, I'm not going to deny it. I am mean. Shout out to Bari. What's good, my boy? Shout out to you, my boy. Appreciate you for coming through. But yeah, Scumlord Tier, appreciate you. But yeah, she was like, you're mean. I'm just like, okay. Like, I am mean. Do you see it, Singer?
You didn't. You didn't send it to me?
Yes, I did.
I'm looking in the messages. Oh, here we go.
Are you looking in the messages?
Yes, I am. I got it. Yeah, I can see it.
All right, go ahead and fucking share your screen, please.
All right.
Fucking share your screen.
I got you.
Thank you. But yeah, like, I mean, like I said, it did bother me, like, because, you know, I am, you know, excuse me, please.
Yeah. I get it.
So we're gonna go through this conversation. Like, some of you may call me cruel. That's okay. If you can scroll in is a little bit more.
Oh, zoom in a bit more. All right.
Yeah.
All
right. So, Azure, Midsummer. I believe she's she, her, or she, they. I think so. I'll just say she. She said, kind of pathetic. Okay, wait. Does it have her pronouns or their pronouns? Click into the profile.
She, they.
Make sure.
Oh, whoops! Clicked in one too many times. That's the banner.
Does it?
Yeah,
oh,
she, they.
Okay, go ahead and go back. All right, so I got into this back and forth with her. That is, she was like, kind of pathetic to the H, but some folks love having a holier than thou, told you so type attitude, I guess. Enjoy the rush while it lasts. Mind you, I reply with, you're being holier than thou because you think you're better than me morally because I made a joke. Worry about yourself. And she's like, aren't jokes supposed to be funny? You're just mean. And I was like, well, yes, because I am mean, right? And humor is subjective, unfortunately. She said, I prefer laughing with people than at them, which, mind you, I like laughing at people myself personally. I have a very, I laugh at a lot of things, man. But yeah, she's like, I prefer laughing with people than at them, which again, this goes back into her holier than thou persona. I hope I'm using like the right pronouns because I don't know how the she, they works exactly, right? But I prefer laughing with people than at them. You are no better than the schoolyard bully who laughs at the popular target of derision, knowing they'll be validated for doing so. It is genuinely a bit pathetic, actually, mind you, repeating herself. Have some respect for the folks who lost their jobs today. And I was just like, I'm not laughing at the people who lost their jobs. It's not their fault. The blame lies solely with the leadership and the decisions made there. That's common sense. So how about you turn your brain on, if possible? The holier than thou attitude is boring. Do you feel better? And then you can click on me and scroll down a little. And then she said, it isn't their fault, yet the people in charge will have golden parachutes, and it's the workers who will bear the brunt of Embracer's decision to shut down the studio. So realistically, you are effectively laughing at them, whether you intend to or not. I'm just like, actually, that just means that there shouldn't be an issue making fun of the people at the top because they're going to be fine. Now, you came in here and made assumptions about my character based off one tweet. What exactly are you hoping to achieve by lecturing me? She's like, yet you aren't. You only specify those at the top in replies to people calling you out, and no sooner, no indication that it's mismanagement. You're smugly laughing at instead of the studio's closure as a whole. Perhaps learn how to communicate more effectively and clearly. Now, I was feeling very insulted because I am very fucking clear. Now, you can call me a bitch, you can call me mean, you can call me arrogant, and you can call me an asshole. But the one thing you're not going to say is that I'm not fucking clear and I don't know how to communicate effectively. All right. That's just not true. I went to fucking school for English, man. But anyway, so I tweeted this a few minutes after my joke. Arrogance of a few, bad business decisions is referring to what exactly? Use context clues. It's not my fault your comprehension skills are non-existent. You got some nerve considering every one of your replies has been condescending and juvenile. So you can actually stop it there.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is where she blocked me. See how she didn't respond or acknowledge me bringing it up sooner? You
yeah, that last punch in the mouth hurt, and she jumped out of the ring and ran back to the locker room.
She fucking blocked me after I was like, I tweeted this a few minutes afterwards. So what's up? What's up?
You know that person who they open their mouth and then they close their mouth and their mouth trembles and they look around and then they just yell "F you" and they're yeah, she
So
had
I'm
no
just like,
comeback
all
for
right.
that.
So she again, I don't have anything. There's nothing wrong with people blocking me. That's perfectly fine. I'm just like, you blocked me after I fucking proved you wrong, and you couldn't address what I said, so you blocked me. All right, cool. Like, it's just how it is with these people, man. These people being the industry folks. And so then this person here, another industry person, said he said, wild that anyone can be happy that someone lost their job because they made a video game they didn't like. And I'm like, that is pretty wild. Good thing I'm not happy people lost their jobs. Like, black and white thinking with you industry folks. And then we have this person here, him, game dev, right? Hundreds of people lost their jobs. If you're not going to show the bare minimum amount of empathy, just don't talk. Mind you. All right, so keep it, look, bare minimum amount of empathy. If you're not going to show that, then don't talk, right? I was like, I can have empathy and still acknowledge bad business decisions. You don't have to limit yourself to black and white thinking. He's like, you saw people losing their jobs and your sole response was a meme making fun of their last game. I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about them losing their job. A joke should be the least of their concerns, to be honest. Like, let's relax with the moral posturing. He's like, you can... Okay, he was like, you can actually show empathy. That's like the absolute bare minimum. It's very easy. It's not moral posturing to ask people not to take people losing their jobs as an opportunity to whine about video games they probably didn't even play. Mind you, I didn't even whine. I posted it was a joke. But I was like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about how you feel. You good luck with all that. Because at the end of the day, these people don't actually care about whether or not you're a quote unquote good person. They're going to judge you based off one or two tweets. Benign tweets, in my opinion. But, again, mean-spirited, yes. But overall benign. I'm not actually fucking hurting anybody, right? Like, I'm sorry, but if you, like, I'm sorry, like that, if that's what triggers you, there has to be some other, underlying issues going on, and I highly recommend therapy. I understand it's different. I'm looking for a therapist myself, bitch. I'm struggling. All right. I'm struggling. So I get it. But anyway, he continued with, no, there is something you can do, just as I explained. And I was like, this was before I saw your last reply. So he started whining, bitching, crying, and complaining about what the fuck I said. Let's see here. At 11:52 a.m., I posted this at 11:54 a.m. before I saw his fucking reply, because this person also said something to me. And I said, I feel for those who lost their jobs due to the bad business decisions of leadership. Good luck to them. It's tough out there in the job market. So this person here decided to argue with me for about an hour without looking at the rest of my fucking profile. And so as soon as I post this, I'm like, yo, I feel for those who lost their jobs. I'm like, oh, I did express empathy before we started going back and forth. He disappeared too. He also disappeared. So I proved both him and the other person wrong, and they both fucking disappear. They spent all that time fucking cucking about, trying to argue with me about my fucking joke. And at the end of the day, here's what I gotta say.
Poof.
When it comes to certain things that you post online, be very, very aware of what you're saying and why you're saying it, right? Be aware of what you're saying and why you're saying it. And unless you really genuinely say something completely out of pocket, awful, just like you're just looking at you like, what were you thinking, right? Like, I'm talking something racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, that kind of stuff, right? Unless making like harassing people, threatening to kill people, that kind of thing, right? Never fucking apologize to these people. Never fucking apologize to these people, because they don't give a fuck about your apology. If I had apologized, if I said, oh, my bad, they would have been like, well, you should have known better in the first place. You should have never done it. They don't actually give a fuck about your apology. All they care about is patting themselves on the fucking back. All they care about is just smugly looking for and saying, yeah, I told this person on the internet that they're a bad person because they made this comment that I didn't like. Yeah, I am in the morally superior place than this person here. Yes, I am a better person than this person here because of you have zero empathy for... Bro, I'm sorry that my thinking is not fucking binary. I can actually have more than one fucking thought at the same time. There's diverse a diverse range of thought. You know what I'm saying? It's the same conversation when we talk about the crunch thing, where I'm like, I think it's really bad and sucks that these developers have to spend an exorbitant, like extreme crunch, right? An exorbitant amount of time working and suffering under those conditions. And I can still enjoy the fucking product that they come out with due to those conditions. Like those are you can do both. And that's like gamers can't acknowledge that crunch is fucking bad. Extreme crunch that is. And these fucking developers can't acknowledge that you can have more fucking thoughts than one. It's all black and white with these people, man. So
I
shout out to Kenny F and G. Super chat, appreciate you, my boy. But yeah, thank you so much, Big Dono. Thank you. Do not apologize to these moral posturing fucks. Don't ever fucking apologize to them unless, again, you said something so fucking insane, so fucking out of left field, where it's like, bro, or girl, like, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking extremes. I'm talking, again, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, talking about assaulting people, talking about anything, talking about people's kids, their significant others, like shit like that. That's like, okay, like you're tripping, apologize for that. But this, unless somebody on the panel, and I'm open to hear other perspectives. I'm open to hear other perspectives in the chat too. If I was completely out of line and left field, it's perfectly fine that you feel that way. But again, the one thing you're not going to say is that I'm not fucking clear about anything. All right. So anyway, thoughts.
One thing that I've noticed is problematic is there is a lot of reading comprehension seems to be suffering because the very thing, like they're accusing you of not having empathy and talking about, making fun of people who lost their jobs. But the very first thing, if I remember the wording correctly, is you said like bad decisions of the few. Now, if you look at a development studio, the few are not the developers on the ground floor. The few are, and you said it, decisions. So the decision makers are typically at the top. So like if you're talking about how the business decisions of the people at the top affect everyone else, sucks to suck. Like if they actually, if there was, proper reading comprehension, they would understand that you're talking about the assholes at the top who made horrible decisions that are now affecting however many people are in that studio. So,
the thing of it is, like, these people didn't look at the rest of my fucking Twitter, which, that's fine. That's typically what happens. You start going back and forth with someone, you're not looking at the rest of their posts, right? But they made a baseline fucking assumption about me off of one tweet. And we're like, well, you didn't express empathy. Yes, I fucking did before you got in here. Well, you never mentioned leadership. Yes, I fucking did before you got in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm going to fucking disappear now. Like, this is what again.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people do that.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, unfortunately, a lot of people don't do the additional research that's necessary when they engage in the conversation to see what kind of background that you have, right? And a lot of the time they hide that behind just because you're online. And that this right here has always been an issue. I guess why it's something that's not new to me, but it's always interesting to talk about, is because this has always been a thing since the beginning of the internet has existed, online gaming especially, where people will either villainize you immediately or feel like you're saying something else outside of what you're actually saying, which speaks
quick,
to Ramon's.
See you later, Slow.
All right, yeah, I'm out. Great show, guys.
See you later, Slow.
Bye.
Yo, take care, Slow.
Say
Good
Slow.
seeing you, man.
All right, go ahead, Rain.
Nah, but so it just, this thing has just been continuing to be consistent where, and I see you shoot down people who do that kind of thing all the time, Luke, because you like to get that common sense from out of people or try to get it to make sense or get them to make it make sense. And people should expect that anything that you post online can be criticized. If people want to ask you questions on it and you don't have proper responses to start off with, or know the basis of what you're even arguing about, you can make yourself look like a fool. In this situation, it just seemed like, again, people trying to jump on something on the bandwagon to maybe help a friend in need that didn't need help. I mean, as you can see, they were getting ratioed on your end anyway. So if there obviously one side is more accurate than the other. It's wild to see people kind of constantly crucify themselves in that manner and not like, I don't know. It's a lot of victim blaming, but there's also people want to try to make certain things justified, but they don't justify anything else in their life that way. Right? You don't look at you want to be the hero in this scenario, but you aren't the hero in all the other facets of BS that go on in your day-to-day life. So you're just doing it online to try to be perceived that way, which is I think it's corny, but people are different. So I think you did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, I'm not gonna apologize for my fucking joke, dude. It's just not gonna happen. But
yeah, it was.
I mean, nautical Ramon, you already said something, Singer, or anything?
No. I got nothing.
All right. And I guess Nautical stepped away. Oh, he is off camera, so I'm guessing he stepped away. Yeah, so I mean, like at the end of the day, I really do feel for the people who lost their jobs. Like tech in general is taking a hit. There was a ton of layoffs, I believe, at Microsoft and also at Google. I think there were a ton of layoffs there in the tech space. So I'm really feeling for people. Like, geez, seriously, good luck. The job market is fucked right now. It's tough, dude. It's really fucking tough. I think I got lucky with the job I ended up getting. Because it was looking a little spooky for a while there. So Godspeed to all these people for real. Yeah. But you know,
it's not that these jobs aren't that they need these jobs. It's just a lot of the companies. It's like right now you see a lot of companies letting people go. It seems to be some of the higher tier or like corporate side of the workforce, and then they're bringing other people back in. All they're trying to do is just recoup revenue from 2 years ago. That's all these companies are doing right now. They're either going to recoup it by cutting wages, letting people go, bringing less revenue generating people in when it comes to how much they make, and you're going to be able to offset a little bit of that. Sooner or later we're going to get back to normal, because this is happening everywhere. Like, my company's done it, my wife's company has just went through some type of restructuring when it comes to the corporate side of it. Everything is struggling because it's not that the business isn't there, or it's not that those positions aren't needed. It's just that they're not the most important thing they need right now. And they're trying to, recoup what they lost a couple of years ago. And I think once companies get to a point where they're starting to like get back to some form of normalcy, then you'll start seeing the workforce like kind of flip back around. But until that happens, and we don't know how long that's going to take, you're going to just see this consistent thing happen in just different parts of the world. Because even if you're in sales, or even if you're in a corporate world, it's kind of the same, because everything suffered the same way. It was just, some was able to hold on a little bit longer than others.
I mean, but in gaming too, you got to expect that you got to make a good product for people to invest in your product. And right. Volition, like, you didn't make a good product. So, I mean, for a lack of a better way to put it, I mean, what did you expect to happen, right? You've been on a kind of decline in Saints Row, from at least from what I have experienced. I mean, 4 and 5 are cool, but there's a reason why people didn't find any interest in this. And if you can't tie good gameplay along with, and I don't even see people talking about that, because gameplay can win over a game. But if you just didn't make a good game, look at the career that you're in. You're in gaming. It is a known fact that you have to put out a good product. This is nobody's fault, but the management side of things. So that's who you need to take that frustration and anger out.
Yeah, you're right about that. But the biggest, they've been making games that are bad for a while. It's been a while. The only thing because think about it, the only common denominator and companies, and maybe they would have been on the chopping block no matter what. Yeah. But now that the whole parent company is struggling, you're cutting. It's not that you just released a bad game. It's not just that you haven't turned a profit underneath us in X amount of years. It's the fact that the whole company is struggling. So you look at everything And even if that one thing is like, it's kind of profitable, or we could give it another go, you're looking at a lot of things like cut this, cut that, cut this. This has been profitable. Don't touch this. But this is kind of broke even. How do we feel about it? Do we think we can recoup some later on if we put some extra stuff into it? And that's just where it is. So let's be for real. If Embracer wasn't struggling, Volition probably wouldn't be getting closed down, because they do like the ability to be able to have a lot. They like to throw a lot of stuff at the window. Or at the wall, I should say. That's why they acquired so many of these developers. That's why they acquired so much of this IP, because let's be for real, the developers themselves isn't really the prize when it comes to Volition. It's all the not the Volition, but to Embracer, it's the IP. So they're looking at like, okay, well, we still have the IP, but we could close this studio because we don't need to pay all these people. So Saints Row will come back.
Listen, if they can come, listen. All we want is a fucking remake for Saints Row 2, guys. That's all we fucking want, man.
That's all we really want. That's the best one right there.
I mean, I'll take a remake for Saints Row 1 because I didn't play that. I only played 2, 3, and 4. So
all this signals to me is that two things. One, I will never get my Legacy of Kain remakes, and two, I will never get a follow-up Legacy of Kain to wrap everything up. So
Well, what was the name of the studio that made Darksiders? I forget the name of them.
Was that wasn't that not Signals?
No,
it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Where's Darkside? Here it is.
It says Visual Games made Darksiders.
Yeah, Visual. When Visual Games closed, because Darksiders 1 and 2 were some of my favorite. I love both those games. And when they came out with part 3, they released that's right when they closed. They released a Vidoc telling people what the fourth one was going to be. And it was going to basically be a 4-player co-op game with all the horsemen. You were going to play as all 4 horsemen. It was going to be a co-op. I was like, oh my God, the fact that they finally told us that's what they were working on, but they, money and, just being able to produce those games has gotten to the point where they just couldn't do it. It hurt my feelings because I really wanted that because I was so invested in the first 2. So it sucks to see like Volition close, even though their game hasn't been like appealing to me. But I still, like Luca just said, I still remember Saints Row 1 and 2. But that's also when Saints Row, it had its own identity, when instead of jumping the shark like they did over 3, 4, and and like,
Saints don't get me wrong, I really I liked Saints Row 4. I thought it was fun. I remember when Saints Row 3 came out. That was actually the first one I played, right? And I had a lot of fun with it. Me and my brother were just running around with a purple dildo bat. Now, mind you, my mother bought that game for my brother, who was young at the time. I remember I have a very distinct memory of being in the living room, because me and my brother would take turns playing the game.
Johnny Gat.
I would be in the living room, chilling on the couch, watch my brother run around with this purple dildo bat, right? And my mom walked in the room. She's like, "What is that?" And I'm just like, "It's the game that you bought my brother." And she was like, "Oh," and parents, know what you're buying your kids, okay? That's the just the story. But a few years ago, I played Saints Row 2 for the first time on the PS3. The game's fucking amazing. And what I genuinely like, there has never been a game for me personally in which I genuinely felt very unsettled by what I was doing. All right? Because it's like, it's one thing where it's like, you're playing as like some kind of vicious monster, which I mean, I don't think there's too many games that are actually like that, right? Like, but me coming to like the realization, because it's like, okay, you're in a GTA game and you're shooting and killing random pedestrians, like that's whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like the fact that it was baked into the narrative what you were like doing with Saints Row 2, and like how you were getting there was just something there's just an underlying darkness with all the humor,
Yeah.
and it's like me coming to that realization where it's like, oh, my character is genuinely a sociopath.
Evil as hell.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
Someone who does not feel emotion in the same way that everyone around them does. And so it unsettled me. Like certain things that I did in those missions, I'm like thinking back because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I know it's been years, but maybe somebody would want to go back and play Saints Row 2 and experience that for themselves. But certain things that I did had me saying, oh, and I wasn't okay with doing it. You know, I felt uncomfortable. I was like, I don't think that this person deserved what happened to them. You ruined this person's life just because of who they were associated with. You killed this person just because of who they were associated with. And I understand it was the get back. I get that. But yeah, it really got like it. There's a reason why Saints Row 2 is my favorite, and along with the customization for your outfits and just the game, it was just so much fun. I can still play that game to this day. I could still play this game to this day, you know? So it sucks. It sucks, man, but sucks to suck. Okay, so we can just move on from that. Yeah, and I would have loved to play Saints Row 1, but that's a little bit too old for me. Just a little bit too old for me. All right, so let's go ahead and get these member stuff and then get the fuck up out of here. So all of us can go play more Starfield or just chill for the rest of the night. I'm gonna go get an apple and lay down.
Yes, play more Starfield.
Well, I still don't have my TV yet, so I can't play shit.
Okay. All right, and just two, we just got okay. And shout out to Just Call Me McGurk saying, Luca, you have to talk about the success of the One Piece live action. To everyone's fucking shock, the One Piece live action adaptation is actually excellent. It is from what I'm hearing from people, a mostly 1-to-1 comparison. It is doing what no live action that I know of has done before, in which it is actually taking the material it is based on and adapting it properly. People are posting scenes from the manga, from the anime, and from the TV show back to back to back, side to side. This shit is fucking fire. They did an amazing job with casting all the characters. No fucking random ass race swaps. No gender swaps. None of that extra shit. All right? Just a true adaptation. And I remember I actually started it today. I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, because I watched like the first couple of episodes of One Piece. I'm just like, damn, like they did a good job with this. They did a really good job. So I'm like, it's doing fantastically in terms of like where it is sitting on Netflix. I think it's like number 1 in some regions. And then like review wise, it's also doing very well. It's very well. Hold on. Let's see here. It's currently at 83 for critics and a 95% for the audience score. What other live action anime adaptation fucking does that, man? Has done that. So it is, I mean, it makes sense. I hear that Oda Sensei was a part of the entire process. I hear that the people who were making the show are fans of One Piece. It's what I want to fucking see. When the Yu Yu Hakusho adaptation comes out and it turns out to be trash, I'm gonna look at the One Piece fans and say, fuck you. Because Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime of all time. So, you know, I can only hope that we get this, but I have my doubts because I feel like this One Piece adaptation is it's an anomaly. It is not a standard, unfortunately, because for some reason adapting things properly seems like it's completely out of the realm of possibility. So shout out to One Piece fans. You guys are fucking lucky. And I will be watching One Piece season 1 personally. Anyone, are you gonna watch it, Zinger?
Honestly, I don't like live actions, but if from what you're saying, I'll check it out. I'll check it out and see if my feelings match up.
All right.
Because the recent ones have been, let's just say, yeah, basically.
You are black and you are male. Oh,
shout out to Cowboy Bebop. But the thing is, I noticed they did say, and this is what makes me want to watch it, is they're sticking to their fans of One Piece themselves. so they're sticking to the material. So I guess that comes across in the thing that they're actually, they're not trying to take creative changes or not too many. Can you confirm?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, and the live, I do think the Death Note show was good, and I do, the Japanese version of Death Note for live action. Yeah, I do agree with that. The Death Note live action movie, that is. Was it a movie? Show? I don't know. There was a live action adaptation. I fucking watched it. But yeah, so shout out, thank you. Just call me a McGurk. Still, you watch anime or?
Of course, I watch anime.
Yep.
As far as One Piece goes, though, I've never been able to get into it. Every time that I hear somebody tell me about it, they're like, "Yeah, just watch 100 episodes; it'll get good after that." And then I've watched 5 episodes of One Piece myself, and it doesn't pull me in enough. But I can be honest and say I also haven't given it like a true fair shake, that 10 episode run that I would usually give any new anime that I would try. But I'm interested in trying the live adaptation, knowing that they are sticking more to the source material, just to see, because this could be one where the live action could work for One Piece, and hearing that it seemingly is, that could be interesting. I want to see how it's always interesting to see like live action people bring certain characters to life. So
Yeah. All right, bet. Okay, so let's see here. Questions for the panel. Okay, let's do this. So shout out to Yobi, my boy Yobi, saying your favorite books and why. My favorite book is American Psycho, and I remember exactly why. So I was 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, in my senior year of high school in my AP literature class. And I remember I was with 2 people. I can't remember the dude's name, but the girl's name was Jasmine. And me and Jasmine were really good friends at the time. And she was like, "Hey, I want to read American Psycho," because the teacher gave us like a list of books to read. And I was like, "I've heard some things about that. I don't want to fucking read that shit because of the stuff I heard about it, right?" But the guy we were with was like, "No, we should read it, blah blah." And like it was a 3-person group. I was like, "All right, bet." Read it. The book is fucking phenomenal. It's very funny. It's very, very funny. Very absurdist kind of humor, very black humor sort of thing. Um, black humor as in dark humor. You know what I'm saying? So there, of course, is it very graphically violent? Yeah. Is it very in depth with its graphic? Is it gratuitous? Yes, absolutely. Are there certain? I mean, I was skipping some pages. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just like very in detailed of the torture. So I'm just like, oh, I don't need to read all that, but it's still my favorite book just because of how ridiculous it was, that like there were certain aspects where Patrick, even though he legitimately was a monster, the people around him, it was funny because it was like an attempt to humanize him and compare, not necessarily, I can get into it, I can get into it, but it's just my favorite book. I love American Psycho, and I also love Gone Girl. I've read Gone Girl multiple times. It's a fucking fantastic book. Gillian Flynn is a fantastic writer. Sharp objects, dark places. You guys already fucking know. So anyway, those are my favorite books, you guys. Ramon, you're a writer, so of course, go ahead.
That's kind of a tough one, but ironically, although Ari Salvatore is my favorite author, I probably have to go with The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson.
Which is what I've been reading. Yes, fire.
Oh man, yeah, it's fantastic. Like, just the one of the things that really struck me is like the relation, like with the way so the Blackthorn, well, like I'm trying to conjure up the names right now because I got a million things swirling about it. But like I just remember how Gavilar, yeah, there it is. Dalinar, I think his name is. How he was really hard on his son, about his oldest son, about upholding you know, the honor of being a shard bearer, and how it used to always get on his nerves, but then you start to see in the way he behaves and how people um responded to him that even though it used to get on his nerves because he thought Dalinar was being too hard, but you could see the positive effects of it, and just like the depth and the layers of the characters and the layering of, you know, the story, and then, you know, how you believe one thing because you're seeing one side of the story of the conflict between them and the Parshendi, you know, and then this crosses out of book one, but later on seeing, well, yeah, the
Oh,
spoilers.
no
Okay, never
spoilery
mind,
house.
never mind. Yeah, I just realized. But yeah, it's just the layering of the characters, and then seeing, you know, why they have these strong beliefs, and even characters who want to fight against you know, a parental figure forcing them to be a certain way, but then you see that it manifests in them and brings about good qualities and things. It's just the layering. It's just really good. Like, fantastic book.
Yeah, it's
Um,
I gotta fucking finish reading it. But go ahead.
for me, you know, everyone knows I'm really big into 40k series, but my favorite book has to be the first one, which at the time got me into the whole series. I mean, we're like, in total now, there's like 400 books deep on just the subject of Warhammer 40k, and like a whole bunch of them by my favorite author, Dan Abnett. He is so good at depicting the grim darkness that is the Warhammer universe. Like all the horror, how everything is terrible. There's slavery, there's all kinds of prejudice, xenophobia. The whole lot is encompassed in this series, and he portrays it really, really well. And the first book was Horus Rising, and I have to say is that Warhammer 40k has to be one of the best book series I've ever read, hands down. So there we go.
For me, I would probably say, and it's more so a timing thing because when I read it, I ended up reading The Hobbit after I watched the Lord of the Rings early, so it was like 2001. I was like almost 10 years old at that point. Mainly what really intrigued me about that book is like after you watch that first movie for Lord of the Rings, and then being handed that book, it was like, I believe it was on my birthday, by my mom, I believe. It kind of opened me to how storytelling and like the filled in details that you didn't necessarily get in the movie, it especially being like that precursor to the story and everything. So if there was one I had to pick, that'd be one. Everything else that I have is more business acclimated and things that my like pops was forced me to read, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was a super influential book to me. Just learning how to deal with people, different perspectives and things of that nature. But yeah, outside of that'll probably be the two that I would pick.
All right, nice. Let's see here. What is the biggest lesson life itself has taught you? The only person, I'm sorry, the main person you can rely on is yourself. I think about Aomine from Kuroko no Basketball, and he said, you know, the only one who could beat me is me. Now that's not true based on what happens in the series, but it is, you know, it is a great life lesson to have, in my opinion, where the I mean, I think about that a lot when I say like the only person you can fully rely on is yourself, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the one who gets yourself up every day, you're the one who takes care of yourself, you're the one who is just continues to live and go throughout this world. You know what I'm saying? So that is the biggest lesson life has taught me, is that I have to be able to rely on myself, take care of myself, and be better for myself, because the main person who has me is me. Oh,
Hey, yo.
okay.
If you're done, Luke, I'll pick up. The biggest life lesson that I learned is more so it's happened within like the last 5 years, and it came from my mom, and it's just don't expect for people to think like you think. And it is so accurate whenever you get into an argument with people or a disagreement, or you just see that conversations ain't going a certain way that you would probably like. You just got to remember, not everybody's raised the same. They don't feel the same, they don't think the same. Everybody has different beliefs, and you have to be able to, there's people you're going to be able to sit down and have conversation with, and there's people that you're going to be completely removed from and never want to come to an understanding and just want to fight you and everything. It's kind of human nature in that way. But that is one thing that I always try to tell anybody that I'm around. Just try not to expect for people to feel or think the way that you think. So
for me, it would be walk your own path. Because that's what was told to me when I was a lot younger. And people can make you stray from your path. Like you chart out what you want to do in the future, and people will doubt you and try to drag you down from that path, the group's friend circle, whatnot. So if your path is out to a doctor, and if someone says, "Oh, you won't be able to do that," just carry on straight ahead. Just walk your own path, because no one else is going to walk that path for you. But they will affect your path. So you could have been in a great job, but now you're not because someone else convinced you you're not good enough. So always walk your own path.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go on.
I'd say for me, how can I put this into words? Having goals and aspirations and being laser focused on them can be good, but pushing too hard to make things happen before they're supposed to happen can result in a lot of missed life experiences, and you'll be no farther along than you were if you had, kind of cooled it off a little bit. And what I mean by that is, at one point I was like 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. I was writing, I was like, it was it is my second job, but it was really my second job. And during the summer when, folks are going hiking and doing this and that, I would do that sometimes, but I was more focused on pumping these books out. And, fast forward, I'm not any farther along than if I had kind of slowed down and did things at a more moderate pace. And speaking to, a good friend of mine, who's very big in the industry, he told me, he's just like, yeah, you were at burnout pace. And he's like, did you burn out? And I was like, yeah. He's like, how long did it take? I was like, about 3 years. He's like, I'm surprised it took that long. So life has basically taught me that it's great to have goals and be focused on them, but don't push so hard that you're almost trying to push things to happen before they're ready to happen. Just do the work and be balanced.
Oh man. Wow. Okay. Yeah, a lot of good points there. For me, it's always about not self-eliminating yourself from anything that could possibly happen for you. Like make a person tell you no before you just decide you can't do it. It's like more of a lifestyle change, because a lot of people, there's a lot of things where you feel like, oh, I'll never be able to do this, or I'll never go to college, or I'll never be on a basketball team, or I'll never be able to run a 5K or anything like that. The first thing that I learned in life is your mind is your worst enemy, because as soon as you feel like there's something you can't accomplish and you just consistently dwell on that, you will always feel like you are inadequate when it comes to that one thing. So always push and keep pushing until someone of authority or someone of note that you have to go through in order to make it happen tells you that it's not possible. Because guess what? Everything is pretty much possible. I didn't think I would ever go to Florida State for college and graduate with a degree in marine biology. A lot of people would say that's crazy that you were able to do that, but I'll tell people like, no, I wanted to do that. I love water. I love like the things of science. I love all of that stuff. So I pushed myself to be able to make that happen. And a lot of people, I feel, don't take their own journey into their hands. So don't let anybody else tell you can't do something. Don't tell yourself you can't do it unless you done tried everything possible to get to that goal. And if you do put that work in, it's a good chance that everything that you kind of want is going to happen for you. It's not going to happen easy. And I think that's part of the thing. you got to work hard for everything you get. And I think people see the end goal for a lot of other people, and they don't understand the journey that it took to get there. So just take your time and work on the journey of getting to where you need to get to. And that's the biggest thing that kind of helped me throughout life to get where I wanted to get and the things I wanted to do.
Nice. These all fantastic pieces of advice, guys. I appreciate that. All right, okay, so let's speed through the rest of these because I want to go lay down. Okay, shout out to you, Yobi. Thank you again. Saying, I ask this a lot because I care. What are your goals for your respective podcasts? I want to see you all win. I'm gonna keep it. Listen, a bitch hasn't done anything with the channel in about 2 months. My bad. I was looking for a job and now I have a job and I'm getting settled in. So, we'll see. Is the answer there? I'm not sure yet. I know that my peers are ahead of me, and I just know that behind the scenes,
Oh Lord,
they are talking shit. I just know that they are, but that is okay because I do have a lot of people, amazing people who also show me a lot of love, also show me a lot of support. And so, shout out to you guys and shout out to all the content creators who do show that love and support because I try to show it back. So, we'll see is my response.
What? Okay.
Rain and Nautical, because you're the only ones with channels. Let's go.
Go ahead.
I'll go ahead.
Ray.
For me, it's just to continue to grow. I mean, we've been doing it on such a consistent basis. It's tempting to use some of the shortcuts that you see a lot of other people using around you. I'm not gonna call nobody out specifics, but
Lord, please don't.
But again, everybody has to find out their own path, and just to continue to grow an audience of people that like to check out our content on a week-to-week basis on Live a Split Screen. Again, being non-console centric, not really playing in that real console war beef, and really focusing on that. It's tough, but we love it and we enjoy it. We do 4 to 5 hour shows every week. So it is what it is. So I just hope we continue to grow.
So I asked a lot of questions of the rest of the podcast. Listen, man, everybody on this panel that does anything on YouTube is already winning. The hardest thing about it is just turning a camera on or getting a mic and hitting record or whatever you're going to do to basically make this content, because you're putting yourself out there. That's the number one thing that's like the scariest part. You don't know that people want to hear what your opinion is because you feel like, man, nobody want to hear what I got to say. And I even fall, victim to that a lot because, shout out to Luca. Luca always would push me like, hey, people want to hear what you got to say. Make a video on this, or, hey, talk about this on the podcast. Because even knowing 1,000 other people may have talked about it, your thoughts and your opinion, your thoughts on what people are, what they want to hear. So that's the thing that keeps driving me, and the thing that makes me want to boot up and come on this show or go and do our show on DPS and just have other opinions with other people. Because, being on the podcast, it's an argumentative thing, especially when it's a back and forth. And I definitely love that part of it. But I also like the part of where it's like people tell you after the show, like they say, yeah, you make some really good points on the show. And I really, really like that. And you take the good with the bad, but I always look at all of the good responses that I get, like in DMs or from my friends that are on the podcast, like we are right now, that say, hey, I really, really appreciate this. I like when Ramon comes into me and Slow Mo's chat and just starts talking about things that we talked about 2 days ago because he finally got a chance to listen to the show. It lets us know that we resonate with that person about the things that we're talking about. And that's the things that I think push me to keep going. The thing is, we want to go further, and the things that you got to do to go further is like really, really home in on the craft and stuff, and really take it serious, because that's the ultimate goal. We're not trying to be, Pat McAfee or anything, but we like our little center of the ecosystem that we have.
Who is that?
Oh, one of the biggest streamers out there when it comes to like YouTube, but
okay.
You don't like sports though, so you wouldn't know.
That explains it. All right,
you
who
don't like sports.
To play yourself in a biopic about your life. I don't know who looks like me, so I don't know.
Yeah,
it don't have to look like you.
Yes, they do. It's a biopic.
Okay, I'll just have Vin Diesel play my life. There we go.
What are you talking about, dude?
I know you. I know it's a
I'm gonna have
bio
fucking
kid.
Emma Stone play me. Like, be for fucking real, dude.
Okay, fine then. I'll have Harry Potter play me.
Harry Potter. Oh,
He's
cool.
British. It works.
Daniel
Cool.
Radcliffe.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah.
Danny Radcliffe.
He said
yeah.
Potter. That is so funny. That's true though. That's how I recognize it first.
I would have who's that guy?
It's hilarious.
What is his name? Oh, he was in Buffy. Buffy season 7 character or cast. I would have DB Woodside play Ramon, or do you know what he looks like, Ramon?
I don't. I'm wondering if I'm gonna like this.
Yeah, go ahead and Google it.
What's his name again?
DB Woodside.
Oh, Lord, here we go. Oh, okay. You know, there's a funny story about this. So there was a pilot show. It didn't take off, but there was a pilot show that he was on that back when I used to do background extra, and I sat in holding for 6 hours and they never used me because apparently I looked too similar to one of the lead actors. I don't think we look similar, but fast forward to the show Lucifer. I went in for an audition for a really nice audition, and when I came out, the front desk lady was like, "Can I tell you something?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "I'm sure your audition was awesome, but you look really similar to one of the actors in Lucifer." And I finished her sentence for her. I was like, I am never, ever going to book a role on that show. And they never saw me again because I look too similar to the actor.
What was that ninja's name?
Amenadiel.
Amenadiel. Yeah. Because I watch Lucifer myself. So okay, yeah. All right, that makes sense. Okay, but
you do look like Amenadiel now that I think about it.
Yeah. So if you look too similar to one of the actors, aside from being a stand-in, you can kiss it goodbye. Yeah, unless they write in a sibling and you're a fit. Otherwise, just kiss it goodbye. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, it was definitely a compliment. I would never compare someone to someone hideous in any sort of regard. Anyway, so let's see here. What would be the first thing you buy after becoming wealthy? Socks. One word answer, guys.
Oh, my back. My back just started hurting as soon as why my back hurt? I just felt like I pulled a muscle on my back when you said that. A sock.
I said stocks, but I might have said stocks.
It sounded like socks.
I meant stocks, but
sock. I was like, what? I was gonna say what color?
That was awesome, though. Yeah. That would be awesome.
I swear I was gonna say what color sock.
No, that's fair. But one word answers. Come on.
Dang.
Finish my PC.
All right.
An island.
Okay.
My family, a house. I don't know.
Okay.
Something random.
Wow. I would pay off my house.
All right. Great.
Yeah, that's my serious answer. Actually, pay off.
Yeah, I would pay off my house and then sell it and make more money and do something else with that.
All right. So looking at groups like AMP and RDC World, if you were in a situation like that, who are the people you would choose to live with to build upon your dreams together? People closer to my age range and people who are not married with kids. So they would have to be in the same living situation as me. I am not married and I do not have kids. So those are the people I would choose. I can't say anyone specifically though.
Yeah, no specifics, but I agree with it.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I don't know anything about those shows, so I can't really answer.
Oh, RDC World, they're huge YouTubers. Very big in the like anime community and stuff. So
well, I'm already married, so I choose to plead the fifth on this.
Yeah.
All right. Has there ever been a personal moment or something you saw that made you question reality?
Oh man.
I do often experience, not often, but occasionally I'll experience deja vu and it makes me think like, what the hell?
I do the same thing.
What the fuck is going on? Like I'm just like, did I already do this? Did I already experience this? Like it always gets me. So
Oh man, every
Yeah,
time
deja vu. Yep.
Deja vu
Yeah,
is a big
deja
one.
vu.
Deja vu is a big one. Another one is every time something of note happens in this community, I don't know why I'm surprised, and I always feel like, is this real? Is it real? Is
No,
this real?
that's so fair.
I'm like, is this real?
my
I
God,
can't like
yes.
I literally anytime even with this Starfield stuff with the review scores, I'm sitting like, are we serious? Are we really arguing stuff that makes no sense? But then I remember, and I'm like, you know what? This is real. But I have to question it every time it happens because I can't believe that people put that much stock in stuff like this. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I do often question reality when I see some of the hot takes from these fanboys. I'm like, man, you are fucking insane. Like,
wow,
you're crazy. But anyway, so shout out to Yobi with the question saying not a question, but hashtag peace, love, life. That's his thing. To each and every one of you, I believe in all of you, and you have what it takes to conquer this life, your dreams within, eliminate your demons, and make a clear path for your mind, body, and soul and heart to a successful life. Never give up, never give in, and nothing but a lot of love for you, Yobi. You have been a consistent follower. You've been a
Yes, sir.
consistent friend. You've been a consistent supporter for years now. Nothing but love, man. If you want to submit topics for the show, become a member of the channel, and just $1.99 a month. And yeah, okay. So shout out to Jay Bari, who just rejoined on the Scumlord tier. Appreciate you, my boy. Sir X-Man, Mr. Dolo, Jarrell, Dave, MJ, Lionel. Shout out to Lionel, man. That ninja got banned off Twitter for saying some insane things. So sucks to suck, man. But shout out to you. He's always here in the chat every week, just throwing in, having some conversations, having some laughs. So Outlaw, Mike Bison, Iman, Stankma, Damian, Tevin, H Dog. H Dog's been putting on that work on his channel. All right, Dirk McGurk, King Metrotron. I saw you had a space today. Meat Puppet here every single week. Shout out to you, my boy. Scrotum, my original game share partner. Wait a second. I think he is still my game share partner.
I was about to say, did it change?
Bitch, I have not been on my Xbox in quite some time. All right, Phil, DQ's Blizzards, John the Don, Smokes, Lord Jorenza, Stardust, Risk It for the Biscuit, Stone, Dexflex, Starbuck, Kenny, DC, Big Daddy, Smitty, Plus on the Block Podcast, El Whito, Sub Negro, Yobi, Jazzy, Doms, Duck, Sycamore, Zion, Danelle, Brisky, Corey, Light Strife, Arcade, Pepito, Nautical Jet, Brandon, Envy, Dub, Slomo, and Hannibal. Members of the channel, appreciate you, my boy. Thank you so much. Shout out to everyone who hung out in the chat today. Nothing but love and respect for you guys. Had a great time seeing everyone's opinions on Starfield.
Starfield.
Shout out to all the super chat support. Thank you guys so much for that. Memberships, thank you guys so much for that. I really do appreciate it. You guys, it just means a lot. It means a lot knowing that there are people out there who genuinely like fuck with me. It's awesome. And even you just being in the chat, hanging out, even just sitting here and listening, especially when we have the conversation, like we just have random fucking conversations at times. It's fucking awesome. I say this all the time, but I fucking would not be doing this if not for you guys and the support that you guys show me and the love that you guys show me. I love talking to you guys, especially when I'm in a good mood. We're all in a good mood. We go back and forth. We have great conversations, great laughs. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys so much.
Love you too.
And then shout out to like my panel, for coming through and hanging out with me. Jesus, like 5-6 years strong for a lot of us, right? And Rain, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I really do appreciate it. I love what you and Pong are doing. I love the work that you guys are putting in. When you don't forget about your sister. That's all I gotta fucking say. All right, but thank you so much for coming through.
Nah, I appreciate you for inviting me on. And again, it's always a good time being on here. Again, it's the real side of it that I enjoy. Not a lot of people are into that. A lot of people get caught up in their feelings, but a lot of the time, for you guys, Forte, Slow Mo, Luca, for as long as I've known you guys, for sure, you guys kept it real and always like speak from y'all's heart, and that's what matters to me the most. And y'all have always been consistent about that. So y'all will always be important to people, to me, and pillars to the community, to me, because y'all have been the standout since I've joined. So I'm always looking in the background for y'all, because I just love listening to different people's opinions. You gotta be open. But outside of that, you can find me everywhere. Steel Rain. The T is a 7. Google's the easiest place. And outside of that, I'm being Starfield for looks like for quite some time. Armored Core 6 if y'all about that life, but appreciate you.
All right, Ramon taking me up on the open door policy was like, bitch, where's my
Yeah, that definitely sounds like me. Well, first off, thank you so much, Luca, for having me as always. Big shout out to Dragonheart Yobi. That was an awesome message at the end, man. We really appreciate that, and all of that right back to you, man. All the best. I do not have a YouTube channel. However, I am an actor and an author. If you like to read epic fantasy, urban fantasy, and fantasy humor, give me a look. I'm under my name.
Very good writer, guys, for real.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I will be at Dragonsteel. If you don't know what Dragonsteel is, it's a small con that is hosted by none other than a dear friend of mine, Brandon Sanderson. So I will be there. If you're in Utah or if you're, planning to go, be sure and stop by my table. There'll be more details on the website. And if you like fantasy humor, check out my second Fairies book, because some of the Scumcast actually make an appearance in the form of parrots.
Which is very funny.
So that's it. Thanks again, guys. Thanks everybody tuning in, and have a good night.
All right. Singer?
What up? I am not an actor. I am not an author. I am not a content creator. But even I know Alo's personality is that of a plank of wood. But yes, shout out for Ramon and Steele for coming through. It's always a fun time. Shout out to Yobi. That was a great message. I'm back to you. And I shall see you all later.
All right, Nautical.
Yo, great show. It's always a great show when you hear with the fam. Shout out to Steele. Shout out to Trevor Birdsong for coming through. Really appreciate you, bro. I think you're an amazing actor, and you deserve more than you deserve more than what they give you, man. I really
and
appreciate
when you blow up,
I appreciate that.
Fly us out to somewhere interesting, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You already know. You already know.
Yep. But come check us out on DPS next Thursday, 9 p.m. will be on my channel. Shout out to Steel Rain. He's going to join us. It's going to be the day after Starfield for everybody. So that's going to be a really big topic, just so we can get a little bit more deeper into the conversation with that after a lot of us getting a week into it. We're also going to have Creator Kofi and Rand Outdoors going to join us that day too. So
nice.
So make sure.
Seen Rand
solid
forever.
panel.
Yeah, so make sure you come through and check us out next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. with the homie Slow Mo. And Luca, Queen, as always, I appreciate you. And DPS and Scumcast forever. And shout out to Luca meeting one of our favorite friends, Deli, looking all cute in those pictures together.
Whoa,
That's what I'm talking about.
Really,
shout out to my family, man. That made my heart my heart was so warm seeing that. And I wish we could all do that more. But
that made me smile.
Yeah, with that being said, guys, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Starfield and whatever game you're playing, and we'll see you guys next week.
Guys, we're just confirming that yes, I am a real person. So
and she is short, because Deli's short too.
Di is pretty short, yeah.
I forgot to mention something real quick, please.
What?
If you guys like RTS games and you play on PC, Homeworld 3 is coming out, and I have a humble part in it. So if you
I am
the Corvette
so
Squadron.
to it.
Thank you so much.
Are you in the main? I don't want to spoil myself, but for anyone who don't know, Homeworld is a fantastic. It's a long-running RTS series. It's space battles. If you love space, Homeworld's another game for you. But I'm so excited because I can't wait to see your part or your parts in it and how it goes. And I'll be like, when I'm playing it, but I know him. Yeah, see, I know someone famous.
I literally bought that game as soon as you said it. I was already going to buy it because I'm a huge Homeworld fan. I have all of them. But as soon as you put that tweet out and you confirmed it, I was like, oh, I'm buying. I usually wait till it comes out, but I was like, nope, I'm pre-ordering it. I'm buying it now. I got to support my homie.
Man, I appreciate
super happy
that.
for you, man.
Thank you.
All right. So shout out to Pancake Poppies with the super sticker saying, keep it up. Appreciate you. Gregor's spreading misinformation. I did not have I had some boots on, but they weren't. Okay. Anyway, so bye guys. I'll see you next week.
He said you had heels on.
I know.